Kia ora and welcome to day 2 of the LPL Mid-Winter Cup featuring Fortnite, presented by Pringles, broadcasting live from the Sky Tower in Auckland City. I am Jordan Tinney, joined here today again by Joel Strykerr Simpson. Joel, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Jordan, and welcome back everyone to day 2.
It's going to be an exciting day as we see these solos for Fortnite go underway. We're going to see a lot of people returning from yesterday, possibly competing even more aggressively than we saw in the Duos tournament. Is that correct, Joel?
That's right, but on top of that, we're going to see them go head-to-head with their teammates as well.
I think there'll be a lot of revenge tales out there today, so let's check out what that tournament format looks like again today. Here we see elimination still score players 20 points per elim. Top 25 secures 60 points. Top 15 secures another 30 on top of that, along with top 5. And the Victory Royale secures 60 points on top. Let's check out their prize pool. And they'll be competing for the other half of that 5,000 Australian dollars prize pool. Today's first prize will walk away with $1,000, second with 500, third with 300, along with fourth, and the rest from there. Do you think they're going to be pushing hard for that $1,000 there, Joel?
I think they are, but on top of that, top 4 is pretty nice. $300
Top 4 is really, really tidy. But that $1,000 will definitely be calling everyone out there to compete for that very, very heavily. Let's check out who will actually be competing for that $1,000 prize pool. And here we see the first round of qualifiers coming up. We see the likes of Sniper Dan Pro, Drifting Doge, Matsky from Perth, and Sixlack from Auckland, New Zealand. Anyone stand out to you there, Joel?
Vandal and Luigi.
Vandal and Luigi.
Our duo from yesterday, very consistent. Let's see if they can repeat that in solos.
And of course, they secured that third spot yesterday. Let's check out the next round. We've got the likes of Benji Kenji from Brisbane, Majestic from Perth, Josh ENZ, of course, from Auckland, New Zealand, and Komai from Waihi, New Zealand.
Komai's going to be watching out for heavy snipers today.
Definitely keeping an eye out. Let's check out round 3. Here we have the likes of Mrs. Tomorrow Joy, Twitchy_NZ, and D Super and Clicker. And we also see Coles there at the bottom, who was teamed up with Fresh.
That's right. Very, very consistent performance from them yesterday.
Definitely. Let's check out round 4 of our solo qualified players. We've got the whole Pre-Depression, a standout yesterday. Of course, walking away with that top prize with Botlin and the likes of Horizon NZ and Raptor Squad from Auckland. It's going to be a massive, massive competitive game out there. Like I said, we had Depression Unknown securing that top spot from yesterday. Number 2 was the Crack Destroyers, and number 3 was Team Wrath. Do you think they're going to be the ones really pushing for that top prize, Joel?
I think everyone's going to be pushing for that top prize, but today's a completely different day. We've got solos today.
It's going to be absolutely massive. That $1,000 is going to one player and one player only. It's not going to be split between a duos like yesterday. So I think that's going to be driving a lot of people to actually get really aggressive, which of course we didn't see many high kill games yesterday. That's
right. We did see Pre-Depression take away a game 3 with 8 kills, but apart from that,
we didn't see really any double kills there. So let's check out, as we get into the action for the LPL Mid-Winter Cup, the first match of the day. Where are we dropping, boys? We see 66 players preparing to get down onto the island, and we've joined on Pre-Depression, of course, one of our big standout players yesterday.
It looks like Pre-Depression is landing retail. This is one of the biggest high-risk, high-reward places to land. Of course, with these, with those zombie pylons, you can get a lot of mats, a lot of launch pads, and a lot of golden loot.
If he actually manages to drop any of those columns, he can secure himself, like you said, some really high-end loot. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone actually drops in there and competes with him for it.
As you say, we do see one other player contesting Pre-Depression here in retail. He's not going to get it all to himself, but he's going to be watching this other player closely.
And there we see the map. It's a pretty even distribution there, Joel.
It really is, except I do see just one place that no one's gone to.
And
Moisty Palms.
They're just on the outside, in prison by the looks of it. Maybe they're trying to avoid their prop hunt mechanic. If you don't know, if people drop into Moisty Palms, they can become a prop by crouching. But of course, that crouch also will cancel anything they're trying to do, like shields.
Join back in retail, we have Pre-Depression actually throwing a shield, but it looks like he's just getting rid of those. Just throwing them away. Maybe he doesn't like them.
I wonder if he was that person from yesterday when we saw the engagement out towards Frosty that was just randomly throwing shield weapons all over the place.
We see 4 players in Happy Hamlet. We do see Kenji just sitting still, it looks like, and Twitchy's in an engagement right now.
Looks like Twitchy is pushing hard in on Fresh, built out by their door. But they want their kill. They know that their opposition member is weak.
This is a very awkward angle for Twitchy. It looks like he's gonna back down. He doesn't have a shotgun actually, so this could be a very, very difficult fight for him. He'd much rather a mid-range fight with no shotgun. Those ARs are much better from further away.
Exactly. They're trying to come around to get into that kind of mid-range position. Also, I wonder if they can see all those other players in the area at the moment.
That's right. There are actually 4 players here in Happy Hamlet, and at Twitchy and Zed, he might know that there's 4. He doesn't want to go too hard on an engagement here because of that third party or that fourth party.
It's a surprisingly busy zone at the moment, but everyone's just keeping away. Of course, they're going for that survivability. They want that top 25, top 5 placement, but of course, elims can be key today.
Twitchy might get some shots in here. Picking up the sniper. We may see a shot here. No, decides to back down. Probably choke splashes.
It's interesting to see Twitchy running a heavy AR with a green AR. I'm wondering why they're emptying a slot out.
That's very interesting. I think Twitchy is still looking for more items to fill out his loadout. He needs maybe an SMG or a shotgun.
He definitely needs that shotgun. We see Elgato, who was also very, very prevalent yesterday in terms of actually getting into that top 5 positioning and holding those final zones.
These players are very quiet, but I think Alpha Silent might have the jump.
Alpha Silent is living up to their name.
Gets 2 shots. We may see an elimination here. Whips one shot, but gets Twitchy. It's our first elimination.
Twitchy, who was, of course, pushing a fresh down below, has just been taken out by Alpha Silent. Alpha Silent is now going for a second engagement.
Alpha Silent's looking good here. He might want to rotate, though. Look at that zone.
That zone is not helpful to Alpha Silent at all. And in terms of what they actually carry, it doesn't look like they have anything that would give them that kind of advantage in the storm if they were to fight. Get into a massive build-off situation.
Fight. We may see a third party come out here, really disrupt this build fight.
They managed to...
Alpha Silent just taking height, sitting on height, waiting for a moment to shoot back, but for now he just keeps building. We may see a breakdown here. Alpha Silent's dropping down against that.
If somebody actually manages to take out their bottom build, that could be calling the game for Alpha Silent and whoever they were engaging right there.
Alpha Silent, it looks like one of those players actually went down to falling damage. That's why Alpha Silent dropped down. Here we see all of that loot, and it's all going to Alpha Silent right here. 10 grenades for Alpha Silent. Those are going to be very, very useful later on.
Super useful. Shout out to Iguana Takeover in chat. Is Joel looking at the Pringles again? Yes, he can't take his eyes off them. We're still on Alpha Silent down in Happy Hamlet. The engagement is slow, but we're seeing people trying to push one another.
Alpha Silent here actually very silent. He's not making much noises at all. He might just want to sneak off and go to zone. Not
much at all. We've got Mixer Tempo and Nerg D in a little engagement themselves.
Behind Haunted Hills, this is a very interesting place for a fight, but a little bit of a standoff here. Mixer Tempo is trying to establish some high ground, but to no avail.
It's also disrupting them with that drone flying through the middle, possibly distracting each other. We've gone to a double POV. As you can see, we've got Nerg D on that low level, and Mixer Tempo has now taken out one of the drones.
That's right, picking up a golden weapon here. That looks like a heavy sniper, a golden heavy sniper. That's going to be a very useful tool for later on. We may see Mixer Tempo just disengage. He doesn't want to spend his game now fighting. He wants to go for that end game. He's now got a golden heavy sniper. He wants to use that later on.
That'll be absolutely massive for punching through any builds that they encounter. It looks like Mixer Tempo is running towards Kevin, possibly to get some height there.
Possibly for that rotation. I don't know exactly where the storm is, but that floating island is very, very useful for rotation, especially if you're landing at Snobby. Mixer Tempo looks like he's just farming up here. Of course, with the format being arena today, mats are much easier to come by, but there's not as many that you can get. There's not as much potential.
Exactly. They can only top out at 500 per material. And we see Mixer Tempo starting to push over towards Build House, which of course has Kevin next to them at the moment, picking up all that rock. There you can see a reminder of the format today, folks. So the eliminations will get 20 points per elim. Top 25 secures 60 points with top 15, and top 5 putting another 30 on top, and the Victory Royale.
We actually see Pre-Depression taking out Moose, two of our biggest competitors from yesterday. Pre-Depression coming out on top.
Moose was outstanding in terms of actually being able to hold that final zone whenever the build-off needed to occur, holding enough
meds. Engagement here, but Mixer Tempo hasn't seen the other player. But here we go, back to Happy Hamlet. Still Alpha Silent and Kenji are still here. They need to rotate. The storm's coming in.
It looks like Kenji is being cautious. They can hear whoever's down below. Are they possibly going to go and push for that engagement to get that 20 points off an elim?
A lot of players here are very scared to engage. They don't want to throw their first game. They want to make it to that end game. They want to get those placement points. They want to have the advantage, and the game's up and coming.
Happy
Kenji trying to find an angle here. They're going to meet each other on the staircase. They trade shots. But Kenji whiffs one, trying to get some SMG damage in hand. Kenji just looking for an angle from the low ground. Might find a shot here.
We see Kenji pushing around.
Silent is built up way above. Kenji's trying to drop him down. Do you see the storm come over though? Kenji trying to find an angle, trying to find that finishing shot. Might find it here. Looks like Silent might be running out of builds. He's onto his middle. Kenji knows that he doesn't have that much HP as well. Just one shot from that pump from Alpha Silent, and he could go down.
Kenji also only has 72 builds left, and nothing too fantastic in terms of actually pushing into that next zone. They'd want to be holding on to that.
Kenji wants this fight. He does not want to dip out. He does have a launch pad to get out of here, but he wants this fight. He has the chug splashes, and he just doesn't have the shot. Silent is so weak and finds it.
Secures the kill on Alpha Silent. Massive, good amount of loot to be picked up there, and we also have just seen Lynx take out
down Clicker. We see Alex lurking about on the mountain there. Looks like on a hoverboard. But we see Lynx in a very safe position here. Plenty of loot, and from that siphon, picked up some more mats too. We've
seen our loot pool just increasing as players are starting to engage and take each other out. Lynx walking away with that Elam there, scoring themselves another 20 points on top of that. And look at that loadout drop. That's not too bad.
Look at that loadout. Interestingly, we don't see many mid-range weapons. We only see close-range weapons. That attack SMG can be good at an AR range, but I mean, it just shines in that close-range combat. See, here we see him opting not to shoot because he knows that the attack SMG isn't going to do the damage that he's looking for. Here we see Doki and Yoshi in an engagement here. Doki with the obvious health advantage. Yoshi using a campfire to try to get some of that HP back. Doki just trying to find an angle to shoot him at. He doesn't want to rush this fight though. He's playing it really slowly, really safely. Doki doesn't want to throw this first game either. He has a major advantage, but actually look at his loadout. Maybe this is why he's playing it safe. He doesn't want to lose this. He has a slurp, he has 6 minis, he has rotation, and he has a pump and AR. This is a very solid, very well-balanced loadout.
Doki actually has a really great positioning in terms of holding the high ground. Just gets built out there. Yoshi managed to secure a nice little surprise for Doki as Doki tried to drop down and secure that Elam. Doki is back in their box that actually has their builds on it. Now we go to double POV. Yoshi is down below with Doki going for the shot.
Doki goes down, trying to find a shot. Traps go down, and it's going to get
and
trade.
It's game
But Yoshi
over
actually
for
took
Doki.
him down. Despite the health advantage, Yoshi actually took that fight.
Doki really tried to push for that, and it was a fantastic push from Doki, commendable, but once Yoshi got down those traps,
Yoshi actually, that's his second elimination, already picking up 4 eliminations, and placement is still a little way off, but 40 points is a very good start for Yoshi here.
40 points is a good advantage to have, and in terms of position, they're fine right now, but it looks like they could have another player starting to push in towards them.
That's right, Yoshi actually opting not to use his other shields to get up to full HP, and very interestingly, not taking the pump, keeping the blue tactical shotgun.
We've now joined on Neat and Pomali. Pomali is just shockwaved out of there.
Opting for the disengage instead. It looks like we also see Vandal, one of our finalists from yesterday.
Vandal was outstanding with their teammate Luigi, and they did a lot of work yesterday, securing themselves that top 3 spot. And we're back on Neat. Neat, who's managed to turtle themselves right next to that lava.
They have a good spot in the zone, and they also have a hoverboard. I wonder if we'll see the use of a hoverboard for rotations here. Obviously not right now, but Neat is in zone. He does have a decent position. He is in zone, and he's not too close to the center. When players are when players are turtling up near the center of the zone, a lot of the time they get focused.
They do focus up, and it looks like that's what's happening with Neat. Neat is possibly pushing for that top 25 position. We're not even there yet. We're still have 41 players in play.
That's right. Neat actually has 0 kills, but here we're joined by Pre-Depression.
Pre-Depression, of course, one of the standouts from yesterday, going for their crank, trying to get on top of this build battle.
Trying to get some height. He does have the mats to work with, but he's burning through them very quickly with builds like this. Trying to find an angle. Actually takes the height, it looks like, against Kozeri. Pre-Depression trying to find an angle here off to the right. Kozeri's stuck on the low ground. Now does have a shockwave though.
Seen it go down. That whole build just dropped. And Pre-Depression took a massive damage.
Pre-Depression now actually getting distracted by zombies here. This is very annoying. This is one of the problems of being on low ground and retail especially. These zombies are relentless. They just keep on coming.
And they will push into your build and destroy them. So if he doesn't get rid of them soon, he could be in a lot of trouble here. But it looks like TTV Kazari has actually held off and is not engaging Pre-Depression.
That's right. This is very interesting. Kazari knows that Pre-Depression took all that falling damage, but instead just opts to farm up and wait for endgame. Pre-Depression is watching him though. Actually, there is a third player nearby. Pretty Depression opts to get out of there. He doesn't like that third play. He doesn't like that third party. He's out.
He also potentially knows that they haven't made it to that top 25 yet.
Actually
but they've
found
just
some
scored
loot
themselves
here.
some loot out on the outside.
That's a major score. Look at this, almost 100 builds. But here we're joined by UDK. On top of another play, gets in the box, white damage, and Kenji goes down.
UDK is making up for their clean shotgun kill. He got eliminated by yesterday, taking out Kenji. So UDK made an aggressive push and managed to secure that elim there.
2 kills now for UDK, and look at that loadout.
That loadout
It's a launch
very
pad.
healthy.
He has 4 shockwaves. We're going to see a lot more shockwaves today with the moving zones. Completely different end zones today. If you guys did not know, in Arena, the zones will not just shrink, they will also move over.
They're going to keep moving, so players need to be ready with mobility to keep moving with those zones. So that's why we're pointing out that UDK has a really fantastic loadout carrying shockwaves and a launch pad to keep themselves moving in that zone.
Look at this. This is what I was talking about earlier. We're close to the center of the map, and look at how many players we see. There's 6 players, all in this one area.
We are in factories near the Meteor and Dusty. And look at that massive tunnel next to Matsky.
That's right. Matsky's playing very safely here, and his HP shows, unlike Po Marley, who's actually only on about 40 HP. Marley not looking too good here. It's going to be very, very difficult. If he needs to rotate or if he has to fly somewhere, he could get shot out of the air.
He could get tagged out of the air, and we saw that happen a few times yesterday.
Now joined by Pikascore, who has 3 eliminations already, and that heavy sniper that we see him do a lot of work with yesterday, coming into retail as well. There's no, we know that there's some potential snipes here for Pikascore.
Pikascore, of course, getting that massive play on Komai yesterday with a double tap off the heavy sniper, dropping Komai twice, which was unfortunate. But Pikascore is pushing through, potentially looking for points. I think they've spotted someone.
They have. They know there's a player over here. Pikascore might look like he's going for a little bit of height, a bit of a better vantage point for that sniper. But again, look at this loadout. Every player is carrying shockwaves. It's the favorite mobility item.
That on that low ground, of course, like you said, we've got zombies pushing in on Pikascore. That's not fantastic.
Just uses the pickaxe instead of opting to use a gun. Maybe that pickaxe is just a little bit quieter. I mean, not that scythe, obviously, but the pickaxe is usually quieter.
That scythe makes a lot of noise when they manage to bring it out of their inventory. But Pikascore is just holding position, waiting for this player to their right to make a move so they can actually make a play.
Pikascore is just watching and waiting. Not too many players want to be aggressive right now. The zone is getting smaller. We still have 37 players up, and we're not. I mean, still 37, but we're not that far away from placement. Only 12 more players need to die.
Exactly, and they'll secure that top 25 spot, securing themselves some more points. That'll be plus 30 on top for their positioning. Pikascore is just holding this build that they've got off to the side. They're in zone. They're perfectly fine where they are.
He's in zone. He's fine. This is how a lot of players play. They just turtle up. If they're in zone, they're good. If they need to move, well, that's when you need to start worrying.
Exactly. They've got 140 builds to work with, and they've already got 3 elims on the board. Pikascore is in a super healthy position and is probably watching to see what this next zone is going to do, as it's only got 3 seconds to finish.
He really is, but Pikascore is on the outside here, so we'll probably have to move. We also see Botlin out to the right in his own turtle on top of the taco stand, and Blazeri to our close left. Pikascore is surrounded.
Pikascore is not in a great position in terms of being third-partied right now. Botlin looks like they're getting ready to move with a slight pop-out on roof edit. Blazeri's just holding that house that Pikascore has been watching the whole time.
That's right. These players they're just watching. They know that they don't have to move, so they're not going to. They're stalling, waiting for placement points. Some of these players already have elimination points, like Pikascore, who had 3. But what really is going to make a difference is that 60 from top 25.
Exactly. Shout out to Bones_OCE Ice Cream Man. Let's go. That, I believe, is UDK, who was wearing the ice cream skin. Now we're on Neat, who is getting engaged, and that wall is dropping quite fast.
He's getting pressured. I wonder if we'll see use of the minigun. Actually finds a pump shot. Neat. I think his wood got replaced, so he needs to be careful.
Massive edit there.
Finds the shot. What a flick onto Vandal.
Vandal going down to a very clean edit to pump. That was massive.
Well, Vandal, one of the most dominant performances we've seen yesterday. It doesn't look like he's making a repeat in the solo format.
Unfortunately, but with it only being match 1, they still have 4 matches to absolutely make a play for that top spot.
I'm sure Vandal can definitely make a comeback, but we'll have to see. We actually see his teammate Luigi here in the center of the zone, and we see Lurker lurking into those placement points.
Lurking. You do that, Lurker. We've also got the likes of Viscology, who, from mid-game onwards, was doing a really good push in that duos tournament.
Also, we see Drifting here with a decent amount of mats. Not much wood, but he's looking very good. Look at the zone starting to get a lot smaller. But we still have 34 players still alive. Their placement points, it's still a way off. We still need 9 more players to be eliminated.
That's a massive amount of players to still be alive Everybody's trying to survive. They can see they want their top 25, and it's not getting any closer to them at the moment.
That's right. Look at this hill. Mario's on top of this hill. He has that height advantage, that initial height advantage. Look at that. Every player is on the low ground except for Mario.
Mario has that prime real estate up on the hill, but it's going to be interesting to see how the storm actually moves and whether or not that's going to play into their advantage.
That's right. Mario actually doesn't have an AR here. Here we see him just spraying, trying to get some early tags with that TAC SMG, but it's nothing like an AR. He has movement, he has mids, but I mean, unfortunately, he hasn't been able to fit an AR or a sniper or anything like that into his loadout.
Exactly, and they have no trap mechanics there, so no campfire, no launch pad. The only mobility they have right now are some shockwave grenades.
That's right. This is a prime position for Mario. As we can see from his position on the map, he's in the center of the zone, but not the next zone. He's going to need to use those shockwaves to rotate, or maybe if another player puts a launch pad down, he'll be able to use that.
Exactly, and we can see Minor Brad right out on the outside.
We actually see Alex just using a hoverboard to rotate for free. And players didn't take note. He got a free rotation out of that hoverboard. Here we see pre-depression. Look at that loadout. That's a lot of gold. That's a lot of launch pads.
Pre-depression has been fighting a lot to be able to pick up that amount of loot. They managed to rotate themselves outside of retail, holding all of that. 3 yellows,
that's right. This is what we were talking about. Look at the launch pads. Look at this golden loot. That is the retail advantage. But pre-depression here, getting pressured, all that retail advantage could go to waste here. He might just opt to use a launch pad instead of fighting. We're going to see it here soon. See if he puts a launch pad down. It looks like he might just opt to use another launch pad. Another one has been placed up here. Pre-depression getting a free rotation. Maybe those launch pads will come into handy later as pre-depression flies in, but getting beamed now down to just 140 HP.
That was a big laser on pre-depression as they flew into zone. If somebody managed to get a healthy tag on pre-depression as they flew in, and now we're just watching them turtle up. They're holding that position. It's going to get a bit rough here for everyone right now.
That's right. Luigi picking up a kill, and we're getting closer and closer towards placement points. We are on 28 players remaining. A lot of players, when we get close to those placement points, a lot of players tend to just slow down and wait for other players to be eliminated so they can get those free placement points. No one wants to be engaging here. People just want to wait. People want to get that 60.
Exactly. The fact that we're not even in top 25 right now means everybody absolutely wants that top prize. So they're working to survive all of this. We're now on Mixer Tempo, who just gets dunked out.
That's right. Stinks can be a very, very useful tool for other players, and we see them here again. Mixer Tempo taking on more damage, just trying to find a spot where he can box up, and it's going to be safe. But those Stinks are just making him move around. And here we see our first moving zone. This is what we talked about, completely different to the Geo format from yesterday. These zones actually move very far away, as we can see here. Launch pads, very, very useful. Shockwaves, very, very useful. Unfortunately, Tempo has neither.
Tempo has neither, so their mobility is going to come from the fact that they have to start moving and keep moving until they get into that next zone.
We actually see a shield bubble over Ko's area here. I wonder if he'll be using a hoverboard, or if he has some way to like move that shield bubble. It doesn't look like it though as it goes down. Mario.
Exactly.
On the low ground. No kills actually for Mario. Getting pressure from 2 angles. He needs to move. He needs to get out of here, and fast. Doesn't have any rotation. We see lots of players flying, lots of players using those shockwaves to move up in the air. But Mario is stuck building just behind.
Shout out to Ms. Masters in chat saying, let's go Viscology. Viscology has survived until this point. Everybody's just trying to push for that top 25, but we're starting to see a lot of people now drop.
Actually, speaking about that survivability, Mario might go down here, just 26 HP and running out of builds fast. Only 100 builds are remaining here for Mario. Getting these minis off, might be able to get some bandages off too, but the zone's going to push him in. It's so tough to mid when the storm's like this.
It's moving fast. They managed to get off that mini shield, but it's not enough, especially with how tiny the zone is.
It's not enough, and gets beamed.
Tagged out by
Botlin taking him down. We also see pre-depression still up, and here's Botlin with plenty of mats and still the shockwaves. So many players are saving them. They are very, very useful. So we also see Lurker lurking on the low ground with not a lot of HP though.
Lurker living up to their name. We see the likes of Pikaswa actually up in that high ground. We see Kazari trying to get out of the circle they're in right now. UDK is also pushing in. It's all over the place right now. We've also just lost Pikaswa.
However, we still see pre-depression on low ground, holding strong. Doesn't look like he's in any engagements. He's still holding strong. Look at that HP.
Pre-depression actually just got the shockwave right out of the safe zone.
And here we see Minor Brad, one of our favorites to watch from yesterday.
Team Minor did do a lot of work yesterday, so it's impressive to see one of them down into this final zone. We're still not even in top 5 yet, folks. These guys have secured themselves the top 25 points, but the top 5 is just out of reach.
That's right. We are getting very close to that top 5. There were only 8 players remain.
And we see Minor Brad still just holding that box. They've actually got a really great position, going for a shockwave.
Oh, shockwave to the next zone. Mighty Brad has already rotated before every other player, but he's running out of mats.
They've also just got a stink thrown on them, and that's chipping into their health.
Mighty Brad really looking to pick up a kill here. He needs the mats, he needs the health as well. Anything would be very good for him right now because he needs to move, and he knows that he doesn't have mats. Yeah. Only 6 builds, now just 5, now just 1. He has no builds remaining. Brad picking up a kill though, his second elimination, getting some mats too. Got his HP back, might pick up number 3 here, but getting pressure from behind. The player's in his box, does he have traps? No. But that other player goes down and Brad gets taken down. We're in top 4 now.
That was a big pop on Brad. We're now into the top 4.
We see Luigi on the high, establishing that high ground that he was so good at doing yesterday, but we also see pre-depression on low. We're at top 3 right now. Axis also trying to regain some of that HP, trying to get this big pot off. Does do that as well, but can't take much storm damage here. Luigi on high. Doesn't have a lot of mats, but I mean, he has that high, but gets knocked down by pre-depression. We may see a build fight here. Pre-depression doesn't have the mats, though. Goes down to Luigi.
Luigi and pre-depression, 2 of the biggest names in yesterday's tournament, fighting for their
Luigi
top
has the
spot.
RPG high ground, trying to find an angle and finds the shot.
Luigi with a massive win.
Massive first game. 6 eliminations for Luigi and a very dominant performance.
That was incredible to see those 2 people coming in with that top 3. Just
wow.
It's not a surprise to see Luigi in that spot.
What a game 1.
Luigi held that top zone that they were famed for yesterday and just absolutely secured the win with it.
That's right. That high ground was his. No one took it. No one really fought him for it. We did see some RPGs from low ground, but I mean, that fight with pre-depression, wow.
Everybody was absolutely going for it. We see Axis walk away with number 2 and pre-depression walk away with that 3rd spot. That top 25, everybody was actually hungry to get into that spot.
That's right. It's very funny how these players just wait. As soon as we get to top 30, players just really slow down. Players just try to wait and stall, trying to get that top 25 and just trying to get that 60 placement points.
They were really hungry for that top 25. And then once we got into that top 10 position, everybody just started cleaning each other out.
That's right. Players were really struggling for mats at that point. We did see a lot of players using shockwaves, and of course today, no junk rifts.
No junk rifts, which is unfortunate, as they were a favourite of mine to see yesterday. So we're going to cut to break as we figure out the standings for this first match. But of course, as said, Luigi walked away with that number 1 spot. Kia ora and welcome back to day 2 of the LPL Mid-Winter Cup featuring Fortnite, presented by Pringles, broadcasting live out of the Sky Tower in Auckland City. Joel, what did you think of match 1?
What a game 1. We saw Luigi take it out over pre-depression. A very solid performance from him, 6 eliminations plus that victory royale.
Of course, Luigi was just an outstanding player to watch yesterday. With their teammate Vandal, they made a lot of amazing plays, really secured that high ground. They were absolutely good and holding that high ground.
That's right, that high ground, actually a very useful tool for just winning games, getting kills.
Exactly, and when we saw that top 10 come into play, you know, we saw Luigi right at the top.
That's right. We actually didn't see much of him until right at the end there, but I mean, that's all it took.
That's all it took, and their loadout was absolutely key.
Absolutely
and managing to take out Axis, who was that other player who secured the number 2 spot. Pre-depression in 3rd, who, of course, got clean pumped by Luigi there.
That's right. Axis is a bit of an unknown name, but I mean, maybe we'll see him make a story about himself today.
Hey, there's a really great story being built at the moment. Of course, we see all those people from yesterday back here competing and going hard. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that next match.
It really is.
So we're going to be checking out their next match soon, but like a reminder, we've got a replay coming up with a big shotgun play in this game for match 1 of the LPL Mid-Winter Cup Solos qualifiers. There we see it's Alpha Silent just crawling all over the place.
Establishing that high early, Alpha Silent actually does find the kill on Twitchy, one of our very early eliminations here, but Alpha Silent basically clearing out Happy Hamlet.
Of course, we saw Twitchy actually trying to get an elimination themselves, but they didn't manage to secure it. But we're going to be checking out some more action here in the game. But we'll be getting ready soon for match 2, because, well, what do you think is going to happen with this next one?
I think we're going to see pre-depression and Luigi battle it out today.
Do you think Vandal who was Luigi's mate, is going to come through and join with them out there?
We could see him in in-game as well, but he was cleared out pretty early on this game. In the mid-game, he was cleared out, but I think we're going to see a lot of the same names in these in-games today.
Exactly. Let's check out the standings after match 1 of the Solos Cup. Here we go, and at number 1 is Luigi, of course, with a victory royale and 6 elims. Predation in at number 2 with 5 elims. IG Matsuki AU secures 3rd with number 3, and UDK in at number 4 with 4 elims and at 470 points. Any surprises out there, Joel?
I'm actually loving to see Pika Squad down there. I wonder if we'll see some more snipes out of him today. Just sneaking in at that number 9 position, we might see him climb up the leaderboard a little bit. And
Pika Squad was holding on to a heavy sniper, getting ready to tag out anyone if they managed to get that read on them. Also, we saw Neat, who we had joined on in-game, who was doing some really great work out there.
That's right.
This outstanding top 10 is what we're currently seeing, but this could change after the next match we see in this. It's going to be interesting to see if that top 3 does change or if we see some new names join into that.
That's right. Already seeing quite a few new names, but I mean, of course, Luigi.
Luigi and Pre-Depression, the 2 big names, really just coming out of yesterday's games.
That's right. We may see Luigi just sit at that number 1 spot for most of today.
Hopefully they manage to hold it and just secure that big victory royale, securing the $1,000 that they are all competing for. And of course, that's the one that everybody wants.
That's that $1,000 prize pool.
And of course, we're going to go into match 2 of the LPL Mid-Winter Cup Solos. Let's see what happens as we join this action. An interesting line there, Joel.
It's a very interesting line. It's kind of going from corner to corner here, starting at Happy Hamlet and ending off just to the left of Sunny Steps and Pressure Plant here.
And we see 5 llamas in play, 2 near Moisty, but of course no one's been going towards Moisty.
That's right. Actually, they could pick up some big bonus there. Going to Moisty, 2 llamas in play.
We've also got 1 near Viking Village. Whether or not anyone will actually get close to that is anyone's guess.
And here we see Luigi, our previous winner, actually landing in Lucky Landing again.
Lucky Landing was the Luigi and Vandal's favorite zone for yesterday.
I don't think we'll be seeing Vandal here. I think they would have decided to land in different spots today, but Luigi, his home's in Lucky.
Luigi believes in the luck of Lucky Landing and has actually secured a pretty tidy loadout. That's good
right,
early
already.
Game stuff.
We have shield, we have an AR, we have a shotgun. Let's see what Zone does. Zone often isn't very lucky.
Exactly, and it's always a really wide zone because Lucky Landing is right on the outskirts of the map. We are now in Tilted, and we have 3 players there.
That's right. Just a reminder, in Tilted Town, you cannot build anything and you cannot break anything. So the only thing that's in play here is the weapons.
And like you were saying yesterday, are we going to see anyone pick up that double pump that only generates in this zone?
That's right. There is a double barrel shotgun in Tilted. Not many players opting to use it at all. We didn't see it at all. We do see a hunting rifle being picked up, one of the weapons that's exclusive to Tilted only. But of course, that double barrel shotgun, it's not really a tool that players like to use. People are much more comfortable with that pump shotgun and following up with that TAC SMG.
Exactly. The double barrel, if you don't secure that close quarter and manage to hit straight away, you're pretty much dead.
That's right. I think we're going to see Marley just hold on to this blue pump all game. We saw mostly pumps last game. We didn't really see too many tags except that at the early game. Many players opting instead to use this pump. We actually see Twitchy take down Tyrant, who was one of the players in Tilted, and we see Marley just relaxing in the main building.
Marley is just chilling out.
Sneaking about.
Marley's just holding that one building there in it at the moment. They've managed to heal themselves up. I'm not too sure where they took that chip damage from, but there's also 1 other player in that area with them. So there's 3 people still in Tilted.
That's right. We have Marley and we have Twitchy. Actually, he saw him for a second there. Marley might try to find an angle here, getting on the rooftops. He hears Twitchy very close off to the left here. Marley might be able to get on top of him here.
We also see Clicker had just taken down 6 lag, which is unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. We're still a way off of placement points. Marley might find a shot. He gets 100 damage. It needs another one of those to finish off the fight. Doesn't find it a 30 damage shot. Trying to find an angle in this doorway here. Dancing back and forth. Marley might just run in, taking a big shot, but taking down Twitchy.
Secures themselves a slurp juice, and now they're being pushed by the other player.
Pushed, going for that third party, but Marley's healing up, has that shield back, gets a big 180 tag, and finishing it off. Marley taking down Burger, now has 2 eliminations already. Here we see Vandal against Fresh. Fresh actually with no shield, Vandal on the low ground. Fresh opting to take this fight slow instead of dropping down and trying to find an angle. Vandal holding strong in his box. This turtle meta, this box fighting meta is really what we've been seeing. I mean, except for in Tilted here.
Except for in Tilted. My heart is breaking for its Virgo right now. That 180 on them.
180, and that's why that
Absolutely
pump is the most dominant shotgun in the game right now. 180 damage, just like that.
If you manage to twitch onto them with the right timing and hit that shot, that's an absolute guaranteed elim right there.
Really huge for Marley right now. He actually has all of Tilted Town to himself. It can give him anything he wants to. I mean, except for materials. You cannot break anything here. You cannot build anything here. So Marley will get all the weapons that he needs, but none of the mats.
Now we're over in Greasy Grove. Will we see Taco Time activate with 4 players in zone?
4 players, actually looking like 3 players here in Taco Town. We have Doki, Pina Colada, and we have Viscology.
Pina Colada's starting to push out of the zone. They maybe don't want to deal with Taco Time if it goes live.
Maybe he's not a fan of Taco Time.
Everybody is a fan of Taco Time, Joel.
I mean, I like tacos.
But we see Viscology starting to push off that center point. And as you can see, there's that 4th player rotating around on the outside.
That's right, these players actually do need to rotate out of Greasy Grove in about 30 seconds here. Again, I want to talk about this blue pump.
The blue pump meta.
Blue pump.
We see Not Chubby and Austy OG over in Pleasant Park, and they're engaging one another.
Chubby with somewhat of a half push. Doesn't look like he wants to push up right away. He only has 23 builds remaining now, just 20. I don't know if we'll see a full push out of Chubby here, but his loadout, look at this. Another blue pump, another TAC SMG, and a blue AR. This is a solid loadout. Actually, it looks like he's got this loadout because Pleasant Park was a hot drop. Here we see a double POV with Aussie trying to find an angle here. Doesn't have many builds either. These players don't want to branch towards each other. Instead, they just want to get in some early chip damage and see where the fight takes him. Might find a sniper, misses though.
We see Not Chubby is burning through their builds right now.
They really are. Chubby now with just 1 build remaining. That's it. Chubby, it's all guns now. There's no mats.
They can only engage. Aussies are reversing down that ramp. Maybe they're trying to go for the drop.
Chubby really doesn't want to drop down here because he's not going to be able to build back up. He wants to stay on top. Aussie just holding strong. Might be able to find a shot here with this cone edit.
Aussie has turtled themselves, but they've started to drop off.
Instead, opting to find a low ground shot, but takes a big hit from Not Chubby. Not Chubby just taking some mini shields, biding his time, sitting on that high ground. He can't do much else.
Can't do much else. Not Chubby has no more builds left, while Austy has 6 left to burn through. Still not enough. They're basically at a stalemate right now.
Yeah, this fight has gone to a stalemate. It looks like Chubby is actually opting for the disengage. He doesn't want to throw his game on this right now. He's just trying to disengage, but I wonder if we'll see him get shot.
Chubby's trying to go for those mats. They also dropped a drone, but I don't know if they managed to secure it as they pushed off.
Aussie is creeping up on Not Chubby now, but instead Chubby just trying to get some of those mats again. We see him opting to break the building itself for mats. He's struggling for materials right now. He wants this fight, but maybe not today.
Maybe it's just not worth it. They've burned through all their materials with that crank, trying to get that high zone on Aussie. It looks like Aussie might be trying to chase him down, but is also holding up. Everybody is trying to get to zone. We're now joined with Mighty Doesn't Wipe and I'm Strips. They've got a little build fight themselves happening on a cliff.
Mighty looks like he's just biding his time here. He's sitting in this turtle again, that turtle meta, and I'm Strains doesn't have any very high fire rate weapon to pressure that turtle. He only has an AR and a shotgun, 2 staple weapons, but I mean nothing that's too good at getting into boxes.
It's not going to be enough to actually help them punch through any of those walls, and now they've got somebody on top of their builds right now.
Try the third party. We see Pika Squat coming in on a Volt rifle here. Pika Squat doesn't have a sniper this game, but he's not going to need it in this early close range fight.
They're carrying that purple infantry rifle, which will give them really nice long range. They're trying to do the edits with that golden tac shotgun.
Pika Squat dancing back and forth, and speaking of dancing, he does have some boogie bombs. We may see those come into play very soon. He might be able to get a free shot here. Pika just trying to find an angle, anything. He knows his third party might be closing in, and he wants to finish off this fight as soon as possible. Trying to find a wall place, but doesn't find it. Actually might get trapped here. An excellent play from Rifle. Rifle almost takes him down, and Pika Squat stops himself from running into the trap. A very, very close shave for Pika Squat right there. Actually, Pika Squat also picking up a heavy sniper. We've seen it before, and we may see it again with Pika Squat.
Here we see XL versus Neo down in Fatal Fields.
Wow, the absolute laser beam from Neo from the low ground. You really just don't expect it, but
that was an absolutely massive laser from Neo, of course, with the purple scar.
Purple scar, purple tac SMG as well.
That's a really great loadout. 2 shield bubbles, which may be just carrying to see if they'll come in use in that final zone, and of course securing all that loot. off XL.
All of that loot. I wonder if we'll see him opt to pick up the pump instead, and we do over the purple tech. Also some minis over the big shield possibly. No, dropping the shield bubbles actually. He's going to take the big pot so he can make room in his inventory for those shield bubbles. A tool that we haven't seen much of, but we might see some this game.
And if they're not careful, you can see Lurker just lurking.
Lurking in that red barn.
And now we're going to be joining on to possibly Vandal to see what they're doing in game at the moment.
We're still on Neo though, actually trying to put some space in between him and Lurker. I don't know if you've seen Lurker, but I mean putting some space in between him and some other players might be a good idea here. Joined by Vandal.
Vandal already has 3 elims on the board.
3 eliminations for Vandal. Might be seeing a comeback story here. He didn't get the placement from last game, but he's getting the eliminations for this game. And this might be number 4 Vandal, slowing the fight down, trying to take some mini shields. Looks like he's going back into the fight though. The double edit try and get up. Vandal has plenty of mats to play with, and he's playing with them very well. Vandal trying to get that tack SMG. Look at that. No shots bleeding through quite yet. Trying to get that wall replaced. Vandal isn't finding it though.
It's an actual hammer. It is just taking down those walls instantly. That opposition has
going
no
back and
chance.
forth. Vandal gets to the wall. We're going to see an edit here and a 50 damage pump shot. That's not what he's looking for. Whiffs a second shot, but goes down.
He whiffs that second shotgun shot and loses to Mr. Fury.
That first shot only did 50 damage. That pump can do a lot of damage, but not in the hands of Vandal today.
If RNG is not on your side, the pump shotgun can be the weakest shotgun you can be carrying. We're now on Swill, who is involved in their own little build battle.
Look at the launch pad. Swill has 2 traps. Oh wait, is that more than 2?
Yes.
Look at those traps.
Yep.
He has so many spike traps. He has campfires and he has launch pads. His trap slots all filled up.
It looks like they're carrying at least 6 launch pads, 6 traps, and 4 fires. They are ready for that final zone.
I wonder if Swirl must have landed at retail. Look at this, or killed someone that started in retail.
That is a lot of loot.
Swirl trying to get somewhat of a war replace here in on one of these minor boys. Not one of the minority boys that we saw make a lot of noise yesterday, but still. We've seen a lot of great plays out of them, and will we see some more today? Swirl trying to find his cheeky angle, but whiffs to the shot. Swirl trying to get that wall replace, gets to stay down as well. We're seeing this right-hand peek come into action, but Minor Merc gets out of there. Swirl just failing a couple edits, but just trying to find another angle for Minor Merc. He's keeping the pressure on, but some pressure's being applied. That third party.
Third party just coming in from the side while Swirler is trying to engage with Minor Merc. Just want to say a quick shout out to Vandal in our chat at the moment. You did not bot out, sir. It was just the unfortunate life of carrying the pump.
That's right, and it's still early days. This is only game 2, and Vandal already had 3 kills.
3 elims is absolutely massive for early game. As you can see, we're not even into that top 25 again. Everybody is just going for that survival into top 25.
That's right. I mean, we might see a bit of lack of survivability here with this engagement. Swirl against Minor Merc. This has been back and forth for so long now. They're in zone, they have time to play with, but we might see a potential third party.
They have not disengaged one another.
Big hit onto Swirl from Minor Merc, a full 100 damage shot. Minor Merc feeling really good, feeling really good now, getting right up close and personal to Swirl, but Swirl getting some shields off.
Minor Merc has come around the side, and Swirl is healing quickly.
That's right, Swirl whiffs a shot. Minor Merc trying to find another angle. Swirl just losing all that confidence that he had before, instead opting to turtle up.
It looks like Swirl is just getting that engagement from Merc is heavy. Merc absolutely wants to seal him.
Bubble, preventing those third parties potentially, and Swirl going to take this big pot, going to get right back up to full HP and gets a massive pump shot. Swirl looking for one more of those to finish off the fight against Minor Merc. Doesn't realize how high up Minor Merc is. Might find a shot here. No, Minor Merc sitting on this campfire.
Massive pump from Swirl there on Merc. Now they're trying to just push each other. Merc getting healed, and Merc is down. Swirl has won that encounter.
Finally finds that final pump shot he was looking for. Swirl picking up a blue pump now, along with his insane loadout. Doesn't have a very good AR, but apart from that, his loadout is looking very, very nice.
That was 100% commendable to Swirl and Merc also. Merc did a lot of work to actually keep on Swirl and try to get that elim.
That fight was back and forth for so long here. Swirl might be able to get some tags on Kazari as he flies by. Actually gets the hit on the head.
60 tag on Kazari as Kazari was flying, but Kazari is also in trouble with Kenji on the other side of them.
We also see Axis in the distance here off to the left, one of our highest placing players so far.
They survived into that top 4 position, and we see that Swirl is still just holding that box, tagging people as they fly in, and we've got ourselves a nice little build battle happening right here.
That's right, we haven't seen as many shockwave grenades used this game. Maybe players aren't finding them, or maybe they're using them early to escape early engagement. They want those placement points.
Exactly, we see Doki up the top there. Kenji has gone right down to low ground and is maybe disengaging from this.
That's right, Kenji looks like he doesn't want anything to do with this. There's 4 players all in very close proximity with each other, and also Mighty looks like he's moving up too, might be able to get a potential 5th party.
Exactly, Kazari actually got shot out by someone from the outside.
Look at this loadout from Kazari.
That is not too bad. They've got some splashes, they've got mini shields, they've got that blue pump that everybody loves.
They've got that blue pump, a favourite weapon of today, the hero of the Fortnite loophole right now.
Exactly, and that yellow scar is going to be crucial for any lasers that they need to hit them with. Of course, we saw a laser earlier with Neo.
That's right, Neo, an absolute laser beam. I wonder if we'll see that from Kazari here, opting to dance instead of looking for shots, though. Doki actually going down to Miss Renz.
Miss Renz and Doki were just tunneling on the outside as the zone pushes in, and Renz managed to secure the Elam there.
That's right, Miss Ren's feeling really good right now. Actually, does need to rotate a little bit further. Clicker already with 2 kills and another blue pump. That's all we've been seeing, just blue pumps everywhere.
Also 2 slurp juices. That's going to be crucial.
Right. That's a lot of juice.
And they've also got a couple of traps on them ready to go in case anybody manages to break into their box.
That's right. The only weak part of Clicker's loadout right now is the lack of movement. We don't see any launch pads. We don't see any shockwaves. We saw a lot of shockwaves last game, but not so much this game.
They've also got that bush on, which means they've got a guaranteed hit on them that will do no damage.
That's right.
Hopefully that pays off for them.
That's right. With all this peeking that Clicker is doing, trying to find a snipe here, it wouldn't be unlikely for him to have a shot taken at him.
Shout out to Luke OCE_ in chat. If Swirl doesn't win, he's a clown, potentially, but they've also qualified for the solo tournament.
That's right. We'll see soon enough as we're getting closer and closer to endgame. We see the next zone actually is almost in Moisey, and in prison we may see the prop hunt mechanic actually come into play.
Oh my gosh, I just noticed they are getting near Moisty. I'm excited, Joel. I am excited to see some crazy prop hunt mechanics being used if it actually gets close enough.
That's right. Actually, judging from the map, we don't see that many players that close to Moisty. A lot of players are opting to keep their distance. They're not a fan of this patch.
Exactly. That would mean if they are actually getting near to prison, which it looks like, which is on the outskirts, if they're going to crouch, they're going to turn into a prop.
That's right. We see Mania keeping an eye on the competition here. Knows that Marley's behind him, but there's another 3 players in front of him. Actually getting pressured from behind by Marley. Doesn't take any shots, but maybe he can find a snipe in return.
Code Mania currently has no Elams. Now we're back on the outside. We're following FB, GCK, Crazed Chaos, Pre-Depression, Pina Colada, Soxy, and Fuku on Twitter.
Pre-Depression here, one of our most dominant performers so far. We haven't seen much of Luigi this game.
We haven't. I'm hoping they haven't been taken out in the early game. We also saw Colada go flying out of this giant battle that's occurring right now.
That's right, Crazy Chaos might find a shot and finds it against GZK.
Oh my god.
That is a huge pick, and his first elimination, he needed the mats, and we may see him pick up an AR, get some launch pads too. We do see Luigi here. We see him off in the distance after the close right there.
You go, Luigi. You keep surviving out there. We're back on Colada, who, of course, Shockwave away from that battle with Crazed Chaos with that big snipe on the outside.
Very interestingly, we do not see a pump from Colada, instead opting to use the tactical shotgun. I wonder if this was a choice that he wanted to make. Would he prefer the blue pump, or is he more of a tac shotgun expert?
If you use the tac shotgun, you do have more reliability. You have a consistent rate of fire.
That's right.
It may be more advantageous to that player to use it.
Look at the loot on Pre-Depression, these golden weapons. We actually see a minigun. The minigun hasn't been making a lot of noise, but we may see it this game from Pre-Depression.
Exactly. If he gets to the bottom of a giant build fight and uses that, he could take everybody out.
That's right. Pre-Depression wanting to take names here. He's trying to find any angle that he can. And, I mean, look at this loadout. He doesn't, again, no shockwaves. He does have the launch pads, though.
He does have launch pads for mobility. Pre-Depression just holding this box they're in. They're also carrying their golden infantry rifle. We haven't seen that much
That's right. Yet. The infantry rifle can be an absolute laser beam sometimes. Very, very accurate weapon. No scope, but wow, exactly. That gun is so accurate.
If you manage to get a good clean hit a couple of times on a player, you can take them out for 210.
And here we see Clicker again struggling for movement, but with 4 eliminations from him, he needs to rotate quite away for the zone. And we actually see a prison zone. Look at that half zone. It's perfectly over prison. We may see that prop hunt mechanic come into play. I wonder if players will try to capitalize on it, or if they'll just avoid becoming a prop altogether.
what we're going to be seeing. If Prison Zone does activate the prop hunt mechanic, people will have to take shields standing up because they can't crouch.
That's right. Also, with the format here we see on the right, top 25 is getting very, very close. We're actually with 26 players. A lot of people are going to be slowing down here. They don't want to be peeking too much. They don't want to be taking risks. They want to get that top 25.
Next player down will secure everybody else that top 25 position,
right,
securing themselves more points, get themselves into a better position to push for that #1 spot.
Here we see Pre-Depression taking a big pot. Looks like he's taking some damage, but is looking to return some. Actually flies into zone, and here we're going to see it. Prop hunt.
As Pre-Depression has landed, they've built off. They've secured themselves a nice spot.
Trying to find some shots here against Chubby. Actually
and
becomes...
the prop hunt mechanic is live.
There it is. This is the first time we've seen it, and I don't know if Pre-Depression's happy about this.
I don't think anyone's going to be happy about what is happening to them right now in prison.
We do actually see 2 players go down. That brings us down to just 24 players, and all the players left over in this lobby have secured that very safe 60 points.
With that top 25 position, they've gotten themselves into a really great spot for pushing for #1 to secure that $1,000 top prize.
We do see a lot of the same names here. We see Luigi, we see Swirl, we see Axis, we see Pre-Depression. These players are very consistent. They're not dying off spawn. They're making it to endgame. They're racking up those elimination points and those placement points. That's gonna make the difference.
That survivability is really, really crucial to what their in-game points will be.
Here we actually see some of the first shulker grenades, only 1 actually from Soxy, and hopefully that one will be enough along with the launch pads.
Exactly, and as you can see, nobody is wanting to crouch right now, because if you crouch, you're becoming a prop.
Becoming a prop, that's right. And we do see actually the zone pull out of prison, so we're not going to be seeing quite the end game we were looking for, but I think these players are going to be relieved about that.
I think right now they're all a bit shaken up because they couldn't crouch, which would be a bit frightening to deal with.
That's right. Mario opting to run into the storm to get this launch pad. He didn't have another way to rotate, so 20 health is a very nice price to pay for a free rotation.
Also, if they manage to get themselves an elim and drop, that means they'll get siphoned, so they'll be fine.
Clicker doing the same thing. Also needs the kill. He does have shield, but he needs to land. Actually getting beamed out of the sky now, just 35 HP. Clicker might get shot here. No, doesn't. Gets a safe landing. Needs to pop the slurp. Needs to get the mini shields off as well. Might opt to put this campfire down too. Solo's a little bit of a way to go before he's in zone, so he might opt to instead to tarp in, but he doesn't have a lot of HP.
Doesn't have a lot of HP at all. I'm surprised Clicker hasn't dropped another mini shield, but there they go. They go for it now.
There it is. Clicker actually trying to pick up another kill here. Actually already on 5 kills. We see Clicker might be able to rack up some kills here.
Absolutely massive work from Clicker there.
We see Kazari way up on high with an RPG as well. This RPG and high ground can be a very deadly combination. Mario dropping him down there. Gets absolutely lasered. Kazari now down to just 44 HP. Has the campfire down, but the storm's going to push him off there and goes down.
Goes down to Mario.
But where is Luigi? That's the question I want to answer. We see Pre-Depression flying in. Luigi actually on the low ground this time. I wonder if he's waiting for later to go to get back on high. Pre-Depression takes some shots from Mario here. Mario dropping down, trying to find some more angles against these mid-ground and low-ground players.
We're seeing Pre-Depression push into the zone further. Everyone is constantly moving and trying to be aware of where everybody else is. We just see Mario get some damage there.
We see Mario in a very, very dominant position. Pre-Depression challenging his height, actually. Trying to spray him down. We see Luigi on low ground. Not many mats, but might be able to find a kill here.
Luigi
finds a very, very strong shot. He needs 1 more of those pump shots, but opts instead to back off, wait, focus on his rotations.
And we see Luigi has no elims on the board at the moment, but of course they're into that top 25, and depending on how they secure this next spot, they could get into top 5.
That's right. Actually, very interestingly, we don't see Luigi with any eliminations yet. He's going for that placement. Might be able to find a kill here, but no, instead opts to go around to the right. Luigi actually a very consistent player, but we see him pick up 6 kills in the first match. Let's see if he can do it again here. Here's his first kill. Luigi picking up a kill on Yeti, being challenged by another player. We see a shot.
SMG power.
And we do. Luigi picking up a second elimination and the mats that he needed. We also see Mario stuck in the storm fighting, taking a lot of storm damage here, trying to find a way out, but goes down. We actually see Pre-Depression on high this time, actually gets dropped down. His height's being challenged by Bottle and actually his teammate. These other players are very low. Luigi still has a lot of HP, but Pre-Depression, he's really feeling it right now. In this top 3 situation, we're going to see 2 players fight out, and we might see a bit of a third party. Luigi looking like he's trying to get some height off.
Of course.
Actually, and gets the kill on pre-depression again. Luigi, we may see game number 2 taken by him as well. Luigi with 3 kills and a very excellent position. He still has 20 builds. Botlin, not looking too good. He has 0 builds. Does have that blue pump, but that blue pump is not enough. We see Luigi with a minigun, absolutely lasering Botlin now down to just 26 HP, and no chance to take a mini shield off, and that's it. Luigi taking game number 2 as well. A very dominant performance from Luigi so far, and look at this. 4 kills and that victory royale.
Luigi went for the victory crank there at the end of match 2 for LPL Mid-Winter Cup solos. Luigi is an outstanding player.
Again, in the top 3, we see Pre-Depression and Luigi. Such consistency from these players. They're going to need to continue on with that, though.
Exactly, and we also saw Pre-Depression's duo's teammate Botlin make it into their top 3. And their top 3, compared to match 1, slowed off a lot. We only had those 3 players to deal with, and they were all taking their time figuring out what their best position was going to be to secure that victory royale.
That's right. We actually didn't see a lot of noise out of Botlin yesterday, but I mean, he's really proving his worth today, making it into the top 3 of the second game.
Exactly, and Pre-Depression and Luigi, it came down to them again, and Luigi made that outstanding trap play on Pre-Depression.
That was a very, very impressive play, and Luigi's taking out another game.
Luigi is just the one to watch. I'm wondering if anyone else in the field is actually going to be keeping an eye on Luigi in the next game.
That's right. Well, the likes of Pre-Depression, he's not too far behind. We could still see a comeback story from him, but Luigi, obviously the favourite to win right now with 2 wins in a row. Luigi's
positioning is out of control, and I have no idea what's going to happen. Will he be the one that people will take down in match 3, or, will he hold it?
I mean, we'll see soon enough.
Yeah, and so let's check out what happens in match 3 after these breaks. Kia ora and welcome back to the LPL Mid-Winter Cup featuring Fortnite presented by Pringles. That was a massive match 2 for Luigi Joel.
Luigi, a very dominant performance already 10 kills out of him and 2 victory royales.
We've been seeing Luigi and Pre-Depression holding that final zone really well, and most of their encounters towards that top 1st and 2nd position is because of those 2 players.
That's right, very dominant and consistent performance out of both of those 2. But there's still a lot of comeback potential. We're still only in game 2.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive stuff. I'm interested in seeing what happens with Luigi in this next match, and are people going to be pushing for them?
I really do. We may even see players target Luigi, trying to take him out of the competition.
Exactly. Let's see how Luigi secured that one in match 2. Here we see Luigi coming down that build with the minigun.
And this minigun, we talked about it before. It didn't make much noise until right at the end where it really counted. Look at this. Look at that laser. The minigun, 2 headshots in a row. Luigi knows the other player is low and finds the final pump shot.
He also noticed at that very last moment that was their wall, edited it down.
That's right.
And managed to get that pump on
Found the shot, found the angle.
And here we see the standings after match 2. Luigi, of course, in first place.
Luigi dominating that leaderboard.
2 victory royales with a lead of 160.
That is insane. There's actually some margin. There's actually some room for Luigi to make some mistakes. If I was in Luigi's shoes right now, I'd be feeling really good.
Of course, he'd feel a bit comfortable, but of course, in the number 2, we have Pre-Depression with 400 points. Botlin in 3rd with 330. Matsky AU in at 4th with 310 points. And Axis in at number 5.
Interestingly, at number 6, we see Clicker, who has 9 eliminations but doesn't have those placement points. That 60 at top 25 really makes a difference, and we see it there with Clicker.
Exactly. Clicker is probably cleaning out the early field, but because they're not getting into that top 25 and top 5, they're not securing those extra points they can get on top.
That's right.
So after that massive match 2, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with match 3. Will match 3 see a mix-up, or will we see the same top 3 that occurred in the last 2 games?
That's right. We've been seeing the same players over and over again, but I mean, credit to them. They've been so consistent, and I mean, let's see if they continue.
They're absolutely dominating this game, and we're going to see what happens with that in match 3 of the LPL Mid-Winter Cup. Where are we dropping, boys? Let's see.
We see pre-depression actually jumping out early, going to his spot of retail row. And here we see Luigi actually a very, very long flight plan for him, going all the way down to Lucky Landing.
And it looks like our flight path is actually at the top of the map with those llamas holding that middle ground. There's a couple near Lava Lake.
That's right, that kind of top third of the map being cut off by the bus route. We see Frosty Flight actually not really a place that many players like to go. There's not very much movement from there, and there's no more zip lines too. But we do see it as a hot drop this game, so the loot advantage coming out of Frosty Flights will be huge.
And maybe that people will see that because of the distance from map, it may actually be an advantageous zone to them to get all that extra loot.
That's right, and here we see Luigi himself.
Luigi, of course, going for Lucky Landing.
Lucky Landing, that's his drop. And honestly, the zones haven't been that bad for him these games. The zones have been, I mean, very lucky.
They have been super lucky, but it looks like somebody may actually be... We've got two players pushing into lucky.
Actually, it looks like one of those players is shifting off to the right here. We see Luigi flying in with only one other player. It looks like Fresh is coming in. Luigi landing in that same building. He knows this drop. He knows the spot so well, and I mean, it shows. He survives to endgame every single game. Shout out to Hashu in chat.
And shout out to Miss Pandemonium. Let's go, everyone. Good luck, of course. Maybe Luigi doesn't need that. Maybe that's why they land in Lucky Landing, because they get all the luck they need there.
That luck is made up for Luigi. Actually, the only thing he's really missing in his loadout right now is an AR. He has a shotgun, he has an SMG, a revolver. Not really the weapon of choice, but, I mean, hey, we might see him do some work with it.
If you get one good tag off that revolver, you could do 60 damage, which would be a massive play.
That's right. This other player, Fresh, actually does have full shield. We may see Luigi just pull off to the left here and try to get some more loot before engaging. We do see his teammate Vandal here in Pleasant Park. This is how he's been getting all those kills.
He's getting engaged by Australasia, and he's starting to build out.
Some high. We're seeing an engagement here. Vandal getting a huge shot onto Aussie. Aussie now just 50 HP. Vandal just needs one more clean pump shot, taking Chug Splash just to heal that HP back up. Now he's on 138, but Aussie has no mids for himself. We may see Vandal just walking through the front door, but it's a trap. Aussie is waiting right there for him. We don't see Vandal. He whips another shot, and we may see Aussie get the final shot on him.
Aussie got a massive advantage with that doorway.
Dancing back and forth. Aussie taking the height. Vandal does not have mini mats, but just enough to box up. We may see a water place. We haven't seen a third party yet, but Vandal, wow.
Vandal has...
It's all about the next shot. There it is, the fake out from Vandal. Finds the shot, his second elimination already.
Oh my gosh.
Vandal, not as consistent with placement as his teammate Luigi, but very consistent with those early game kills. He already has 2. He had 4 last game. Vandal, definitely potential for a comeback here.
That edit shotgun was fantastic work to secure that elim on Australasia.
That's right, Vandal actually lacking a little bit of shield here. We're going to see him just farm up and kind of wait and just try to find any shield that he can, because that's all he needs. He just needs some shield. He has a pretty strong loadout. It's pretty good for early game, but now joined with Pre-Depression and Culls in Retail Row.
Pre-Depression's favorite zone, and they've practically been dropping here every
That's right, Pre-Depression has been here. It is his town, and he wants Culls out of here.
He does want Culls out of there, especially if Culls starts destroying those columns, which can secure themselves really great purple and yellow loot.
We don't actually see Pre-Depression with any golden loot or any launch pads at all, so Pre-Depression looks like he's just been, instead of looting the zombie pylons, he's just been looting the buildings.
Exactly, and as you can see, there's a format on the side, folks. If they get into that top 25 position, that secures themselves 60 points,
we do see an engagement here in Haunted Hills with Vaisui and Nergdi here.
Vaisui has just healed up, and Nergdi's holding that top position. Are they going to wait for the elim, or are they going to try to disengage?
Very awkward roof here, kind of getting in the way. Nergdi has a very nice peak, but I mean, Weigel knows about it. Weisel backs off a little bit here, trying to find another angle to come back in for a shot, but I mean, he doesn't have a shotgun.
He doesn't have
Why
anything.
Doesn't have a shotgun?
If he manages to get that good, clean pistol kill, it might be enough.
It might be enough.
Nergdi is in a better position here.
Nergdi has a height, and he has a blue pump, the hero of the loot pool again. We've said it before, and we may even see it again here. We may see Nergdi drop down, but no, just waiting on this height, watching, waiting, listening, trying to find a shot.
Of course, we've already seen the blue pump clean out a few other players today with 180s. Will it be enough to get Nergdi this elim in Haunted Hills?
Weisel actually walking over a scope. They are definitely not the weapon of choice here. He would really love to see a pump shotgun or attack shotgun. Actually gets beamed through the window just like that. Nergdi takes him down for a second elimination here.
Didn't need the pump to get that elimination.
That SMG was enough. That SMG, actually, the silenced SMG is a lot more accurate than the tactical SMG, and a lot more like consistent. The tactical SMG can put out a lot of damage, but it can be a little bit inaccurate sometimes.
That silenced SMG has less recoil compared to the TAC SMG.
That's right.
So you can actually keep your line clean on the opposition, and that's exactly what happened with Noob.
That's exactly what we saw here in Haunted Hills, and Haunted Hills actually in zone.
That is actually massive. That's probably our first Haunted Hills we've seen.
That is, yeah, that really is. We do see a purple vending machine also right here. Actually, we see a launch pad. Probably one of the best things that Noti could pick up here. We do see actually Clicker might get a kill. It finds the elimination on drifting. Silenced AR. We do see him engaging Moose, one of our most dominant performances from yesterday. But Moose, not much of a solo player apparently, because we haven't seen much of him at all today.
Moose has been getting into encounters that haven't really been working in their favor.
That's
Clicker
right, and
now
we
getting
may
shot
see
out of the air.
another engagement here. Clicker instead trying to find this loot that he'd been from a player earlier, but Moose actually with 2 kills.
Very good work from Moose there, who was just getting engaged by Clicker with the minigun. Moose might be waiting for that player who was actually trying to tag Clicker out of the air there.
That's right, and here we see Clicker himself actually with no shotgun.
No shotgun. It's not going to be great for them heading into the next zone. Well, they've got a bit of time to actually get there and possibly find some loot.
That's right. We see Moose actually coming up on pre-depression, and Carl's and Burger might find a snipe here on Carl's whiffs the shot.
That was unfortunate. It just slid directly to the side.
We also see pre-depression on height here above Carl's, just watching, waiting, listening. We see so many players do this, sit on their high ground. They know they have the advantage, and Carl's knows it too. He's not moving, he's not budging. Pre-depression, trying to put on whatever pressure he can, but actually getting pressured himself. Now down to just 51 HP. Pre-depression only has 1 mini shield to heal him back up, and he doesn't have that many builds either. He needs to get one of these kills, but the third party's coming in. Moose slowly coming in.
Moose is trying to go for that snipe again, but Pre-Depression's just holding their edit just to see what's going on around them.
Pre-Depression knows that Moose is looking right at him, doesn't want to edit into the shot here. Moose has so much HP to work with, unlike Pre-Depression, who only has 76 HP.
76 HP isn't a great position to be in right now. They need to secure themselves some elims so they can siphon that off and possibly get themselves in a better
Carl's
position.
actually trying to get out of this situation, but Pre-Depression might not let him. He might get some shots off. Actually gets sniped by Moose.
That's
Moose gets him back. Pre-Depression took down Moose in one of our earlier games, but Moose hits back and hits back hard with that sniper.
Moose was absolutely waiting for a sniper kill. They were focused on making sure they got that.
And will he make number 2? No. Oh, actually does take down Culls. Will we see number 3 on Swirl? Swirl, one of our quite consistent players as well. We didn't see much of him yesterday at all, but today we might see Swirl.
Moose is just absolutely dominating with that blue bolt-action sniper at the moment.
That's right. Moose now with 4 eliminations. Can he top it off with some placement points? We're still far off top 25, but, I mean, if Moose has a big game, he could definitely be back in this competition.
Exactly. Moose is just holding a really great high zone right now, you know, just right on the outskirts of the zone. They're interested in seeing if anyone tries to push in so they can get themselves some more elims.
Moose actually keeping half an eye on the Storm. I think everyone's come out. Swirl is actually very, very weak. Doesn't get a shot on Clicker, but
just
he's pressuring the wrong player.
It.
Just missed it. Swirl just off to the right there, right on the edge of the Storm. We see 4 players here, all on the edge of the Storm. They need to move. They need to get out of here. And Clicker agrees with me. He's way out. He's getting out here. We actually see fresh takedown. Minded the Super. Some of the minority boys yesterday were really some of our highest fragging players, but maybe not today.
Maybe not today. Moose is just staying in zone trying
Moose gets an excellent snipe on Burgo, and that initiates the push. Moose going in here. Burgo trying to get whatever shields he can off, but doesn't look like he has much. Maybe he only has big pots, but actually Shockwave's out of there. Moose still putting the pressure on. Burgo stuck in a tree now, falls down, doesn't take any fall damage luckily. Moose shooting him out, putting on whatever pressure he can, unloading whatever ammo he can. That SMG isn't great for that, but it's whatever he can do to pressure Burgo. Burgo actually gets a mini shield off, but we may still see the engagement here. These players do need to move for zone as well. Burgo just kind of struggling. He does have another mini shield and he does have a big pot too, but no time to take them as Moose engages.
We've got that double POV as we can see Moose and Burgo engaging one another. But Moose has a clear health advantage at the moment.
That's right, Moose, with that advantage actually backing off now. Burgo might be able to get this big shield off. Moose instead opts to run for zone instead of taking this fight. A very smart decision if you ask me. Moose actually does have a launch pad though.
They are going to keep an eye on that.
He could take this fight if he wanted to. He could take this fight and launch pad later. He could wait. He might be able to find a snipe. No, Burgo knows he's waiting for him. We'll see if we see some more sniper magic here. Moose with 4 kills might be able to pick up number 5. We're going to see the engagement. Never mind, Moose isn't rotating. He wants this fight, but no. The launch pad comes out.
It comes out, and of course we see Moose push off. They almost headed towards Clicker, but now they're engaging Burger, who's coming from behind.
Moose actually has another launch pad. Might try to find us another sniper here against Burger, but these plays have been back and forth for so long now. Trying to rotate to Storm is a very difficult thing to do, and on top of that, also trying to fight.
But Moose, hey, they were getting so many of their elims from people coming in from
That's
Storm.
right, Moose actually gets 1 tag and sees that Burger saw his shield, though Moose getting tagged by that SMG, that tactical SMG, piling on so much damage. Actually trying to get a wall place down. Burger doesn't find it. Moose might try to find an interplay, but doesn't quite retake high here. Moose stuck on the low ground and might get stuck in Storm too. The Storm's just about to envelop them right here. Moose now stuck. Will we see launch pad number 2? Moose would have loved to save these launch pads for in-game, but we might just see them here. I think that's what we're seeing right here, and Moose, yes, opts to use the launch pad, but coming in on Luigi, one of our most dominant performers. Moose doesn't know this, though, doesn't know that he's landing on Luigi himself. Kozari actually camping the middle of Loot Lake, a very interesting position to be in, because you do have that God Rift.
And as we can see, Moose is just in a really great position, a lot of good, healthy items to pick up. Now we're on
Here we see Pina Colada takes, wait, doesn't quite
secure.
Take down.
1 HP is that
1 HP. Will we see a comeback?
Colada is pushing up quickly.
Pushing back up. Trying to find an angle on Alex here. Pina Colada just trying to find any way to come back up. Actually has attack instead of a pump here. We haven't seen much of that today, but we're seeing it here with Pina Colada as he comes in, tries to get a shot and finds it too. And there goes Alex.
That was a massive play from Colada, who noticed that they didn't secure their elim, so they pushed back up.
That's right. Here we see Moose still struggling with the Storm. We may see him get into this rift. He's used so much movement already. 2 launch pads plus this rift. He gets put back way into Storm, but gets the kill on Burger. Looks like he gets a Storm elimination.
That is massive, getting some siphon in terms of mats and health. That puts him in a better position to land in zone. That
Loot Lake Rift is a very tricky one. It can send you wherever it wants. And it sent Moose way back into Storm, but it also sent Burger way back into Storm. Moose picking up the kill, his 5th elimination in this game so far. We aren't even at placement yet, and Moose has 5 eliminations. If he can get placement points on top of these 5 eliminations, we might see Moose make a major comeback.
We might see Moose push up into that top 10 at the moment. And we're keeping an eye on Moose, who's just had an outstanding run from where they started.
That's right, very unluckily for Burger. Shout out to him in chat, but that rift was so unlucky, sending it back into the Storm, but
exactly.
I mean,
that's just the nature of the game, and when it's all based on RNG, you've got to hope that it's on your side.
That's right, but today it wasn't on Burger's side.
Now we see Pina Colada pushing on to Botland.
Trying to find some shots as Botland just kind of floats through the air. Pina Colada's going to have a very good vision and might get some serious damage, but no, whiffing a lot of shots here. Only a grey AR actually, so we don't have the most accurate or the most damaging of weapons here.
Unfortunately, because it is the grey AR, it's not going to do much. And they've also got now links building to their side.
That's right. Actually, in this zone is a very interesting one behind Pleasant because there are a lot of mountains. There are a lot of very, very high spots. We actually do see a player in the top right-hand corner of the map in a mech.
We have seen the Brute.
We do not see many mechs in Arena, but we do see one in this endgame, and I wonder how long it will last.
Of course, Brutes have low RNG when it comes to arena mode, so it's interesting to see one has spawned in, and we do see it up on that mountaintop.
That's right. We talked about it a lot in the first game, but Pina Colada now has 2 shockwaves and a launch pad, plenty of movement, and that's what you need. You need that movement in these moving zones. Pina Colada in a pretty good position, but unfortunately in the low ground, in between 3 hills.
They need to also secure themselves a better assault if they want to try to compete in those mid-range battles.
That's right, Luigi here peeking a cone, again with 0 kills. Very quiet in the early game, but makes a lot of noise late game.
But we do need to point out, of course, Luigi pushes all the way from Lucky, and they've ended up in Pleasant Park.
He's had a very safe rotation. I wonder what, maybe he's used hoverboards, maybe he hasn't engaged other players as much, but Luigi is definitely holding strong. We don't see much of pre-depression. However, we do see Moose. I wonder what's happened to pre-depression.
Unfortunately, I may have seen in chat that pre-depression may have got stuck into a situation they couldn't get out of, and they were taken down by Moose.
Well, pre-depression is our only really big competition for Luigi right now, so Luigi might even get himself even more of a lead here.
Exactly. So Moose holding that outskirt, and with Did they manage to get any damage on Rens?
Moose is hungry for blood, actually pushing up on this player as well, trying to make that 5 or 6, maybe 6 eliminations will be huge. That's as much as Luigi got in his first game, but Moose, wow, what a performance so far this game. He doesn't have the mats. We may see him aggro and other players actually easy dashing to get into the zone. This zone is the zone number 4 now.
What we may point out, of course, Moose was one of our outstanding players from yesterday during the duos. Really excelled in that middle ground, and maybe that's what's happening right now. We are on match 3. We're in the middle of this tournament. Maybe this is when Moose starts to fly.
That's right. Here we actually see Ryfly in a Meg doesn't quite take down Axis, but Axis actually does get third party and take down, and Ryfly might be able to claim this loot. He does need to pop some shields though. There actually is a supply drop right there. Ryfly getting beamed down to low HP, but joined back on Moose, who's in a very nice position here, getting these mats, which is exactly what he needed. He doesn't have a lot of builds. Just over 50 builds is not enough for this endgame, and he doesn't have movement either. He used those launch pads early on.
He doesn't have any mobility. We've moved around now. There we see Komai from yesterday.
We see Komai. He's actually in close proximity this time, so I don't know if we'll get sniped this game.
He should not get any snipes. Pushing in on Kozari, going for engagement.
Look at this loot. Golden suppressed Scar, golden RPG, and that pump.
The pump.
We've seen it so much, but paired with that RPG, this could be some serious damage for Komai. This could be a very big game for him too.
No one wants to be carrying a pump because the pump is the weapon of the day. Everybody has it in their inventory, and it has been taking out players left, right, and center.
That's right. With the removal of the combat shotgun, the pump really has been the hero. So many edit plays and so many hard-hitting shots from that pump shotgun.
Shout out to Cardinal GFX in chat, who says Strikes is cute. There you go, Strike. You are cute. We're back on Komai's trash. They're just holding that box. They're waiting to see what people are going to do around them. And of course, we haven't even gotten into the top 25.
That's right. We still have 31 players. That's 6 players still need to be eliminated until we get that top 25, and there's 60 players given to every player still remaining.
Exactly. We're seeing this. Everyone is just riding on the outskirts. They're waiting for some sort of movement before they engage.
These players are stalling. These players are waiting for those placement points. They don't want to be too aggressive, because if they're third party, that could spell the end of their competition, the end of a comeback potential.
Moose is just surviving.
And Moose is on the sniper. He's got a lot of confidence with the sniper.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing Moose just holding on to that blue bolt action, which has been giving them so much confidence in every engagement they've been running into.
That's right. Moose might like the upgrade to a heavy sniper, but hasn't been able to find one this game. The heavy sniper, obviously, the sniper of choice here. You can wall place with it, and it does a massive 150 damage to the body.
To the body if they manage to get that hit off. We see Moose coming around, trying to push in behind Ms. Rens.
Might get a third-party opportunity here. If he pushes up, he might be able to catch Ms. Rens before they're fully healed up. Actually sneaks right up, and Ms. Rens gets the second mini shot off and finds the shot, 133 damage, and finishes it off with the AR shot,
pump.
Just like that.
And
game over for
pump.
Ms. Rens. Blue pump now, and 6 eliminations for Moose.
Moose has just made an outstanding comeback in this game.
Moose has been popping off this game. Also, actually has a free launch pad. This was the movement he was looking for. Actually opting to use it now to rotate, getting closer to that half zone, which he needs to rotate to. We're getting very close to placement as well. Actually, only 2 players have died. Moose taking down 1 of them. We still need 4 more players to go down until that top 25.
Moose is just boxed up now, joining in on where everybody has managed to place themselves, going for the tags.
That's right, Moose is going for tags, just trying to find whatever he can. Moose has been so aggressive in this game. He knows that he needs that comeback, and like we were saying before, that comeback is going to be taken through eliminations, not placement.
Exactly. Now on Mixer Tempo, and we're into the top 25.
That's right. Mixer's Tempo actually only with 30 builds remaining. A lot of shield, though. I'm very surprised that he's not popping any of the shield. He has so much, and big pots can be very, very hard to pop in those moving zones. We do actually see 24 players alive, so the placement points has been taken. Players can start playing a little bit more risky if they want to. But, I mean, these players want that top 5, they want that top 10, and they want that victory royale too.
Exactly, that top 5 position will be great for the points that they can earn at the end of the match. But we see Mixer Tempo still just playing safe.
That's right, getting pressured by that TAC SMG from behind. We do see a Slurpee's coming out, and who's this player pressuring him? Is it Moose? Will we see a 7th elimination for Moose? No, not quite. And it was Lynx.
Lynx wearing the same skin as Moose. That's not confusing at all for us, but they've secured themselves some great loot. They've got themselves
a lot of shield too. Lynx actually ate a 160 damage shot from that pump, but that wasn't enough.
That was not enough to stop Lynx, who secured that Elam.
That's right. Here we see Luigi actually with very low HP here. We may see him go down. He's going to need to pick up an elimination or two to be able to regain that HP through Siphon, but he's still in this top 20 players. We see Moose actually in another engagement. Moose has been just W-keying. He wants those eliminations and he wants to make a comeback.
Exactly. We see Botlin holding that top ground. And they're having to move now with the Storm in play, and they've shockwaved out of there.
Shockwaving above all of the competition. Actually does have a campfire. We'll see if he uses it here. Speaking of the campfire, we haven't seen much heal game at all in these games. Obviously, the heal game was a very, very important aspect of the game yesterday, but not today.
Not today. We're waiting for them to all go aggressive, and they're all relying on Siphon to actually restore their health.
That's right. Luigi actually, with some of that Siphon for himself, is up at 60 HP.
Luigi
getting pressured a lot, but is in zone. We're in top 15, and Luigi did pick up a kill earlier to get that Siphon.
Luigi's just holding right out on the outskirts of that zone.
Gets a very fortunate zone, actually. Luigi doesn't have to move too fast, too quickly. Again, with this green pump, we've seen the pump so much, and Luigi's actually running out of builds and fast. He now only has 15 builds, has 2 campfires that he's putting down, regaining that HP. He knows that he might have to run out into the open soon, so he needs to use his campfires now, because he won't be able to use them later.
Here we see that final zone going crazy. We've got Luigi and Vandal off to the side, and as you can see, that moving zone is getting hot.
That's right. We see Vandal in game, and we actually see Alpha Silent on high. Vandal might pressure this, but no, takes a big hit. We actually do see Matsky holding strong on the low ground, a play that we haven't seen that much of, but has been on the leaderboards.
They have been on the leaderboards, and this is obviously reflecting how they managed to do
That's
that.
That's right. Luigi goes down and does have 4 eliminations, and I think he did get that top 10 as well.
Luigi taken out by Matsky.
Now we have neither Luigi or Pre-Depression in this game. We may see a win out of another player and a bit of a comeback too. We do see Matsky, a potential one of these players that could do it. We see Matsky taking a shot from the low ground, but building a little bit further up. We do actually see the zone closing in towards this hill, which could cause an upset. This is going to be a very difficult position for Matsky to rotate through, and actually just goes down.
He just got taken out by Alpha Silent.
That's right, Alpha Silent getting taken down by himself. Players getting taken down left, right, and center. We actually only have 2 players remaining. If Hoku right here trying to get up on this hill, but runs out of mats, it looks like this is going to be a game. 5 eliminations is pretty good.
Hoku is dancing it out.
Instead of fighting, Hoku goes down to Ryfly. Out of nowhere, Ryfly,
number 1.
Victory Royale and 3 eliminations.
That is insane. I couldn't even see who got that top 3 position. I see that we got Ryfly in at number 1 and Foku in at number 2. I'm not too sure who was 3rd place.
That's right. We mentioned it before. All of those hills around the back of Pleasant, they actually did come into effect. Players did have movement, but we didn't see that many shockwave grenades.
Exactly. It was such a disadvantage to a lot of people, and we had people slipping down. They couldn't get back up that hill.
That's right. Actually, Foku there, he did run out of mats. If he could have gone back up onto that hill, it may have been a different game, but it's game over for him.
Without securing those elims, they weren't getting Siphon and they weren't getting enough mats back into their inventory. So it's going to be interesting to see how this changes up our standings moving forward with the LPL Mid-Winter Cup solos.
That's right. We actually didn't see that much out of Moose after we left him off, so it looks like he maybe went too aggressive, got 3rd-partied or 4th-partied or whatever it is, but Moose actually securing 6 kills that match.
We also lost Luigi, who has been that number 1 player. I wonder if it's going to infect their standings with that position they've ended up in.
That's right. I don't think we saw Pre-Depression take too much of that lead away from Luigi that game, because he was actually eliminated before Luigi was. So I think Luigi is still going to be holding his position strong.
Exactly. It sounds like Pre-Depression got into a spot that may not have been great for them, but we'll have to see what happens with match 4 after these next ad breaks. Kia ora and welcome back to the LPL Mid-Winter Cup featuring Fortnite presented by Pringles. We've just finished off match 3 for the day. Massive changes there. Big
changes. We did see some very consistent performances from both Pre-Depression and Luigi from game 1 and 2, but none of that in game number 3.
They did not end up in that top 3. The top 3, in fact, were actually Ryfly, Kofu, and a 3rd player that I couldn't catch because a lot of action was happening in that final zone.
That's right, and a lot of that action was actually from Moose, who secured 7 eliminations.
It was insane. We're going to be checking out the win that happened with match 3 in the LPL Mid-Winter Cup. Here we see Matsky just get taken down by Alpha Silent.
Lasered. And Alpha Silent gets caught in between 2 players and goes down. We do see Ryfly on that high ground, which is very, very favourable against that hill there. But I mean, even if he was on low ground, he did have that launch pad rifle just building up, had plenty of mats remaining, gets up, actually doesn't get a tag, which could have given him another few points. Instead, Alpha Silent claiming the kill on Hoku there as the last person to tag him, and Rifle taking out game number 3.
Exactly. Rifle went for safety. They wanted that victory royale, which of course secures 60 points. That's actually massive. I can see why they played it safe.
Absolutely huge for Rifle. There's a bit of comeback potential there. I've talked about it before. This is game number 4.
Exactly, and I can see now that Alpha Silent secured that 3rd place in that match. I'm wondering if we can check out the standings after that, because everything has changed for that.
That's right. But I think we all know, look at that lead from Luigi, absolutely dominating this leaderboard right now with 730 points. 2nd place at only 470.
Exactly. We've seen Matsky crawl up into that 2nd position. That 14 elims on Luigi is massive, and Clicker is the nearest person with the same amount of elims with 12. Is Luigi just going to run away with this?
Is anyone going to contest this? Luigi has so much room for error here, but I mean, he's just been so consistent, there might not even be any of those errors.
Exactly. Luigi is very, very lucky, constantly landing in lucky landing, and it's paying off for him.
That's right. I think if I was playing this tournament right now, I'd really be gunning for top 4. 300 is still a lot of money. 300
is a huge amount of money to be walking away with. But it's that $1,000 prize that everybody wants.
That's
and
right.
Maybe it's going to end up in someone's hands with the way they're playing today.
That's right. If anyone can snatch it from Luigi, I would love to see it. But, I mean, it's going to be a very, very tough task.
We're going to be seeing if there's going to be any kind of upset heading into match 4 of the LPL Mid-Winter Cup as we prepare to see what happens with this next match. I'm just so unsure of what's going to happen.
I really am. I would love to see Luigi just hold strong, but I mean, we may see a major comeback, and like you say, a major upset. It's definitely still possible. We still have 2 more games. We have game 4, then game number 5 as well.
Exactly. And those 2 games could change a lot, but hey, Luigi's lucky is very, very lucky for them.
That's right.
And here we go, we're joining in on match 4 of the LPL Mid-Winter Cup.
We see now 57 players splitting up, and here we see Volt Rifle, our previous game winner, and I mean, potentially someone that can make a comeback. If we see a repeat performance from him, plus a few more eliminations, that could definitely help him climb up on the leaderboard a little bit.
They could make a big push into that top 10.
We do. Again, we see Alama and Moisty Palms, but we don't see many players at all. We see Rifle actually landing, he might be landing in Chairtown.
He might be going for Chairtown, which can actually have a healthy amount of loot.
It really can, especially as a solo player. In the duos from yesterday, we saw players instead contest places like Retail, places like Pleasant Park for more loot. But as a solo today, places like Lucky Landing, places like Chairtown are definitely good solo spots. We do see Luigi being contested by Fresh again, but Luigi has just been dominating him game after game and making it to those endgame situations. Luigi landing in his signature building and looting up whatever he can. Actually doesn't even pick up the grey pistol. He doesn't need that grey pistol.
No.
But Luigi is definitely has plenty of shield, but he needs a weapon here. Lots of shield.
They have a lot of shield.
That is a lot of shield. Luigi just doesn't even have a weapon in his loadout. Does have that purple revolver, but that's not really a weapon of choice. Luigi might instead opt to loot another building or loot the lower floors of this building to try and get some loot. He really does need a shotgun. There we go, a tactical SMG. Like a very big weapon that we saw a lot of yesterday. Does pick up a blue tac shotty as well. A very, very strong weapon off spawn. The tactical shotguns are very good off spawn because they're high fire rate, and there isn't as many situations where players are building early game.
We're now over at Tilted, and we see a Victra and Yeti possibly engaging one another.
Players in Tilted tend to play a lot more safe and a lot more slow because they can't just rush in on people. When you rush in, it's a lot easier to just use builds to get up close, but in Tilted, there's no building, there's no breaking.
Building. And as you can see, that green pump is in Evtika's hands. That's been the crucial weapon of
That's
choice.
Right. Also, Evteka has 4 shockwaves already. I mean, that's a lot of movement already. Evteka might even opt to just get out of Tilted instead of fighting these other players, but we'll see soon enough as they're getting closer together.
A double stack of shockwaves is crucial for that mobility.
Really
and opting to drop the yellow bolt action.
That is a legendary bolt action that was left behind by F-Ticker. I mean, I think I know a certain someone that would love to have a sniper.
And Moose, if you can hear us, it's over and tilted. But here we see Vandal
and Merc again in Pleasant Park. This standoff with the shield. I wonder if we'll see a push from Merc here. Vandal already is slightly above Merc, but we are seeing the push from Merc and Vandal now below Merc. They both have 100 shield, but Merc actually doesn't have a shotgun here. The trap comes out from Vandal, but doesn't take him down. But Vandal takes him down with his weapons. Vandal, that wasn't very clean, but Vandal will take it. Vandal did have a pump, but the TAC SMG was the real hero of that battle. The trap didn't do a lot of damage, but boy, that TAC SMG made up for it.
That TAC SMG was absolutely clapping onto Merc, and Merc just couldn't survive its barrage.
Vandal now just farming up after that fight, gearing back up. We actually see Marley and Crazed Chaos. We may see an engagement. They're very close together. In fact, in the same building. We do see Marley looking like he's trying to disengage a little bit. Maybe not too. Actually, we do see him sneaking in, but maybe he's not too confident about this fight. Does have a blue pump and plenty of shield. Maybe he wants to take that to end game instead of wasting it early game.
And of course, Po Marley was the winner of Tilted in the last match, so they may be feeling confident about holding the zone.
That's right. We do see Crazed Chaos. Look at this. Just camping the corners, waiting for the other person to reveal themselves. Anything will do. I wonder if they can see each other or if they're just guessing where the other player is.
It looks like Po Marley could have got an advantage with the window, but they didn't push forward, being a bit too cautious on that.
Po Marley is being very, very cautious and very, very safe. I wonder if Nerves getting actually gets 2 big tags on Po Marley with that grey AR. Now down to just 140 HP. Marley pushing up. He has a reason to push now. I don't know if this other player does have a way to heal, but Marley
is the king of Tilted, just holding it, waiting to see what happens with the players around them.
We do actually see another player coming in for a potential third party. We actually see them coming up on the staircase. Marley whiffs a shot, whiffs a second shot, instead of using the AR, instead whiffs a third shot. Marley, what is happening? Gets the 4th shot, though. Will he get number 5? Does get number 5. And doesn't quite take this other player down. It's going to be the AR spray that does take down Yeti, but that was not very clean at all. Marley will take it, though.
That was a very strange battle.
That was a very messy fight. Marley, maybe that's why he's being so cautious.
Exactly, and that other player is trying to come around to Marley now because they know Marley's probably feeling it a bit. Here we go, King 110.
Crazed Chaos takes down Marley. We have a new King of Tilted.
We got a big 110 shotgun from Crazed Chaos there.
That's right, very deserving after Marley whiffed a lot of shots there.
Yeah, it was unfortunate on Marley's case. They just couldn't hit that pump shotgun on the previous player, Yeti, and Crazed Chaos just took advantage of that situation.
That's right, here we see Need, a player that was making a lot of noise earlier on, actually taking out Vandal, but now it's against Matsky, our 2nd place player right now. Need doesn't even know he's challenging the 2nd place player. Might cause an upset here, but the anti-gravity zone might make a bit of a difference in this fight. Here we see Need actually flying up. You actually get very exposed when you fly up in the zone. Does get the edit though, but doesn't find the shot. Need just looking for an angle, doesn't have anywhere to heal, so it's all about the aggression right here. Need on just 54 HP, but still going in. He doesn't want to be cautious. He needs this elimination. He needs that comeback.
He needs a bit of siphon off Matsky, and if he does get that elim on Matsky, that's
right. Does actually pick up a campfire. Might be able to put this down. Looks like that is going to be the case. It does get it down underneath the cone. He's actually struggling to get it down a little bit. Maybe just a bit of an awkward position here. Doesn't, you know, bit of a fire hazard for the campfire.
They managed to put it down. The metal is covering the tree so it doesn't catch on fire. Is Matsky going to push and secure themselves more points to climb even higher on the leaderboard?
Here we see Moose.
Moose has actually changed skin also, so now we know which Moose we're following.
That's always good to know. We actually do see another bolt action for Moose. I wonder if we'll see more action with it, but we don't see a pump. We actually see a tactical SMG. Maybe Moose is a lot more confident with those long-range engagements, but Botland, maybe not opting for the mid-range engagement, might push up on Mighty, a play that we haven't really seen a lot of today, but maybe we'll see a lot of a misgame. Botland actually just on Otherwood.
Mighty just keeps coming out of nowhere.
Botland getting sprayed down to just 160, now down to just 74. Opposite pop down a shield bubble, and now getting some heals off. Botland actually in a very tricky position right here. Needs to heal up as much as he can before this engagement. Actually gets shot once, not for very much, but now he has another player in his box. No traps to get the trap kill. Whiffs a pump shot. Botland, not really the shot you were looking for. These shield bubbles make for a very interesting close range fight, but goes down to Swirl, who now has 2 eliminations. We also see UDK in a fight with Hoku, one of our previous final players. We see UDK in that very, very cool ice cream skin.
UDK is getting engaged hard by Hoku, who was our second place in match 3 for the LPL
Pressure is
Mid-Winter
really
Cup.
being put on against UDK here. Now the Storm too, UDK does have a medkit, so he's very confident sitting in Storm here, but I mean, it's never really a good thing to do.
UDK is holding that Storm, trying to secure the kill, and just loses it to Hoku. That's why we saw Hoku
And
in
just
that
like that,
top 3.
Hoku getting the spoils of war now, more minis. Might help to take this medkit before rotating in, but trying to make the decision. There we are. Here at the very, very north of the map, we see DeSuper and Avoy. DeSuper actually taking a massive shot from Avoy's pump shotgun, trying to find that finishing shot. Now Avoy, and actually does find it.
And we have lost DeSuper to Avoy, who has secured that one in that
That's right.
engagement.
Avoy, actually, interestingly,
Also some great loot.
some very, very good loot. I wonder if he'll opt to take that minigun instead. Instead, his he does have stink bombs, which we haven't seen that much of, and he does have a grenade launcher, which actually he does drop. We haven't seen much of the grenade launcher that much at all, but the grenade launcher is one of the best weapons to get rid of builds.
It's a great clearance tool, especially if we get into those giant build battles towards the end. If you drop a GL all over the place, it might be over for some people.
Causing some mayhem here. Actually, we see another player flying on their dragon. Might be able to get... Wow, the absolute laser from Avoy. Now just needs one more shot, but doesn't quite find it. That other player just absolutely U-turned after that laser beam from Avoy.
That just shows the power of the purple scar. That absolutely lasered that person flying in.
That was huge from Avoy, and we might even see him pick up the elimination here as he pushes up. Very wary of these builds, but he doesn't know that there's actually no player inside that actually does opt to move on. And
this is Avoy's first elim in tournament, so they may be going for number 2.
I mean, we'll see. Avoy, obviously a player that hasn't made a lot of noise, with this only being his first kill of the tournament, but maybe this is his game.
They're feeling confident, so they're hungry for another elim to try to push him up to that top 10 position where you can secure a catch.
Here we see Moose on the hoverboard, actually getting absolutely lasered. Needs to get off that hoverboard. That hoverboard is such a risky tool. We actually see Vandal pushing up on Moose, who needs the heal. I wonder if Vandal will stop Moose from taking this big shot. No, it looks like Moose is going to get the shield off just in time for Vandal gets the wall replaced. And Moose actually opting to get out of there, using the shockwave to retreat instead of fight and rotate in-game. Moose with 0 kills. Not quite 7 like he had last game, but maybe he can make this number 1.
He's got that bolt action ready to go, and he's got a Vandal in their sights.
That's right, Vandal is pushing up, but actually opting instead to go off to the right and leaving Moose alone. There may be a potential third party. Vandal is watching. Vandal wants to make it to endgame. Vandal could actually make a bit of a comeback on his teammate, or just as easily secure top 4.
Exactly, and we haven't seen Luigi, who's probably still pushing up from Lucky into this next zone,
That's
which
right.
again is in Pleasant Park.
That's right, we do actually see Hoku off in the distance there, our second place player from last game. We actually did see Ryfly over by the Pleasant Park Rifts earlier, our last game winner. If he can make this, game number 4 a win as well, then we might see him climb his leaderboards.
We might see him climb up into that top 3 position. We haven't seen the likes of Alpha Silent also, who secured 3rd place in match 3 of this Mid-Winter Cup.
That's right, but Vandal is securing this house in Pleasant Park. Vandal has been here for all game. He landed here, and now he's turtling here. Here we see Chubby and Matsky. Matsky actually a player that's been doing very well, but kind of under the radar here. And
we see Pre-Depression actually pushing in from the back.
Making another appearance. He's really looking to make a comeback in this game as he slipped up last game. Very consistent performances in game 1 and game 2, but Pre-Depression needs to make this game 4 count.
Exactly. He got held back by some other players not doing good things out there. Matsky has scored placement points in every round.
Looking to get some elimination points too.
Matsky has made massive moves.
Also, keeping an eye on Pre-Depression, might be able to get some tags here. Matsky actually does need to get out of the storm as he only has less than 50 HP now, trying to get into that God Rift, but Matsky, he's not going to have a lot of HP. That Rift may push him further back in the storm, and Matsky actually has a total of 7 kills in this tournament so far, although he does have 0 kills in this game.
In match 4, and as you can see, he made it in time. The Rift didn't actually push them back too far. We're now on Swirl, who's coming down with 4 elims on them.
Look at the loot. Swirl is actually a player that we've seen cause a lot of mayhem. Actually does fall off his hill. I don't think that's what he wanted to do, but I mean, I'm not going to question it. The man has 4 kills. The man has some amazing loot. He has rotation. Swirl actually is the current kill leader for this game with 4 eliminations. Other players just not coming close. We don't see Moose fragging out. Swirl pushing up onto this hill. Luigi actually a little bit further down, not quite on the top of the hill, but in a very safe position.
Exactly, and we saw Alpha Silent, who was our third place player from the previous match. We see Swirl build up over the top of them. And we saw that Swirl placed 24th for securing that top 25 position.
That's right, and now there's only 28 players remaining as Swirl gets closer and closer to these placement points, and hopefully he'll last longer than 24, but we'll see. That 60 points for coming top 25 is very, very crucial for these players.
The zone is super interesting, as is the hill just outside of Pleasant and behind it.
It really is. This hill is the most dominant position to be in right now, but again, we have another Pleasant Park zone. We might see the zones push players up onto hills or down off of hills.
Exactly, and that's going to be a really hard position, as we saw in the last match. People just couldn't make it up there in time, so what are we going to see? Are we going to see everyone start to build off around each other? Are we going to see multiple tunnels going into place and a lot of cranking, or is everybody just going to hold it safely?
Pretty pressure now pressuring Mario here. Mario's actually saved the launch pad here, but has 3 more in the bag for himself. Mario has so much rotation. He wants to play as safe as possible because he knows with this loot, he can get some serious placement points.
Exactly. And Mario has actually placed top 20 every round, securing those top 25 points.
Master of placement, a bit of a master of kills too, with 5 kills total, but 0 this game. He'll be looking to pick up some kills in the end game.
That's where they'll secure all of them, looking for those siphon opportunities, because that's what will get them back health, what will give them back materials. And we see pre-depression holding in a high zone.
I actually see Minor Brad pressuring Swirl. Swirl might not make it to placement points this game as Brad puts the pressure on. But these players don't want to engage too hard. They want to wait. There's 28 players still alive. If just 3 more are eliminated, then it's time for placement.
That's when they'll start getting more aggressive. Once they've got their top 25 placement, they can go to town.
Here we see Brad actually does have a rocket launcher. A lot of the times when players do have rocket launchers, they try to keep them a secret so it's a surprise for the enemy. But I mean, of course, him using it right there just tells everyone, hey, I have a rocket launcher. Be careful.
Exactly. I'll take out your builds with that. And Brad placed 5th in Game 1 for the Mid-Winter Cup today.
Let's see if Brad can place 5th again, or even better this game. He's in a very good spot. He doesn't have a lot of movement though.
Exactly. There's nothing really that will allow him to get out of the spot very quickly. And Swirl's actually doing a good job of holding him off.
Swirl is doing a good job, but he can't do that job for much longer as he only has 4 more builds remaining, and the fight is going to come out. Does put traps down, and Brad actually does take the damage from 1 trap, but not both. Very luckily, Brad does not go down. Instead, taking down Swirl, who died just short of placement. We now only have 1 more player that needs to be eliminated until it's time for placement, and it wasn't Brad today.
An unfortunate moment for Swirl, who didn't get that trap down in time, and I believe we have Brad with 4 kills total across the tournament. We've gone out to observe the hill that everyone's currently trying to surround and move with.
Look at this massive metal tower from Neat in a very dominant position here. Even if other players do have rocket launchers, they're not going to be rocketing down that middle base very easily.
And we just saw Nerg D fly up the hill on a hoverboard. Moose, of course, with their bolt action
Does
sniper.
whiff a shot, but that's very, very unlikely. That's very, very unfortunate for Moose, as he's been hitting snipes all day, especially last game with 7 eliminations that he picked up. Let's see if he can do it again this game. He's almost in zone here, and now he's just going to set up here. He's basically in zone, making a bit of a tower for himself. He has the mats to do so. Here we see Vandal very close to Mr. Foray.
Mr. Foray is opting to not engage Vandal. Now Vandal's pushing forward.
Vandal's just trying to close this gap between them, but I mean, placement's already gone. These players aren't scared to engage anymore. They've got their placement. Look at that tack SMG. The shots are bleeding through. Mr. Foray taking some shots. Vandal trying to get the wall replaced. Whiffs the shot though. Vandal, he can build, but these shots that he's been whiffing all day, these are not ideal.
They have been the things that have been letting Vandal down.
Mr. Foray now getting third party. Now down to just 44 HP. Now down to just 40 HP. Mr. Foray could go down here and goes down to Vandal. Vandal now his 3rd kill. Vandal's been getting a lot of kills. Vandal does have 9 kills over all of these 4 games, and maybe he can get some more.
A massive amount of elims to walk away with. Of course, we just saw Vandal use the hammer technique with that tactical SMG, an amazing weapon for pushing through walls. and they placed 7th in the last game. You could see why they've been playing so strongly across this whole tournament.
That's right. His teammate Luigi is someone that we actually haven't heard a lot of this game. He kind of just rotates quietly from Lucky Landing. Actually, interestingly, how he had 0 kills, although he was contested by Fresh. Maybe Fresh ran away.
Maybe Fresh did run away. Fresh has been dropping Temple outside of Lucky Landing, so maybe they're not encountering one another.
That's right, or maybe they're just avoiding each other. This is Cull's first ever placement points. Someone who's been fighting a lot of people early game and not really going for the placement. Maybe he's switching up his game plan now. He's only gotten 2 kills in total over this entire tournament so far.
It's a massive play from Coles to push it all the way towards the end here to get into that top 25 with 1 elim on the board in match 4 of the LPL Mid-Winter Cup. They're just playing it safe. They're watching everyone, seeing what everyone's going to do with this zone now moving off.
They are Carl's watching and waiting, and here we see a very interesting zone. This zone is actually going to push all of these players off of the hill, and what we may start to see is the players with more materials might just tarp out from the hill to hold that high ground. Here we see Carl's actually using his one and only shockwave to get out of that ditch that he was in, but he still has a long way to go for this zone as it starts to move.
Has a huge amount of distance to
Might go
cover.
down, he goes down to the storm, and Yell Rabbit takes the kill.
Raby just got that kill on Coles as he was pushing in. Mario is quickly moving around to the other side.
That's right, we do actually see Luigi down to our far right. Luigi, a player that we haven't actually seen a lot of this game, but we've seen a lot of in Game 1 and Game 2. Can he make a repeat performance in Game number 4? We're going to find out very soon as we move to the top 19 players. We see Pre-Depression, someone who looks like he's been playing a little bit safer this game. He does have that retail loot. Pre-Depression only placed 40th last game. He'll be looking to improve on that. He actually already has improved on that this game, but he needs a win. Pre-Depression can come back in this tournament, but he needs to take out the likes of Neat, I'm Luigi, and so many other players that are in this top 19 right now.
If he secures themselves a couple of elims, that'll be really, really great for them. That'll put a few more points on the board, and if they get into their top 5 situation, they may push them back up to the top where they were.
That's right.
He came 3rd in Game 1 and Game 2, which is massive, massive stuff from Pre-Depression. We're now on Vandal, who has 4 elims on the board.
4 eliminations for Vandal, but looking for some placement points to go along with his elimination points. Already 80 points just from eliminations, and of course that's 60 from placement. But Vandal needs more. If he wants to make a comeback, he needs more of both. He needs placement and he needs eliminations, as this format suggests.
That blue SMG is absolutely hammering all the builds around him, and incredibly, they're beyond the mid-range. This weapon is just out of control.
This weapon, the tactical SMG, can be a very, very strong one. He's marking something up there. He's wondering if it's in zone. We do see Luigi actually rotating for everyone else, but getting absolutely lasered by what looks like an SMG there. Luigi taking heavy damage, but luckily he has the shield to make up for it. That's very interesting how Luigi and his teammate Vandal only have a pump, and here we see Vandal and that tactical SMG. They're opting for only 2 weapons, no ARs, no snipers, no RPGs, maybe they haven't found any, but just the pump and the tac SMG. 2 very safe weapons that we've been seeing today, but there's been no AR.
Classic tools for actually that close quarter combat that occurs in these final zones, because that's where they want to be.
Look at that height from Neat. Going to try to connect to that middle build that we saw Neat in before. Actually, those are his builds. That'll be a very, very powerful advantage for Neat. This may be his game, actually getting a lot of tags onto Vandal right there. Missing some shots on this flying player, but Neat needs to just connect up with his tower. He has some serious height right now, and he needs it. He doesn't have a lot more. He doesn't have a lot more builds. He actually only has 37 more builds remaining, and it's only wood. Wood is not very strong in these late game situations.
And he just covered up a launch pad that he could have used as a tool to get out of that.
Opting to hold height, but someone else is taking it. Who is taking this height from him? They're getting very weak and goes down.
That was an incredible play there. Neat just taken out by I'm Mario.
I'm Mario now on some massive height. Actually opts to shockwave off of it as he realizes he's way above everyone else. Instead, deciding to take some height further down, pre-popping a slurp to regain any HP that he may lose later on. But I'm Mario now in a very dominant position. He has the mats, he has the spot, he has the loot, he has shockwaves. Actually, another very interesting use from the shockwave late game is he may be able to shockwave other players out into the storm.
Exactly, and we saw that occur earlier with Pre-Depression getting a shockwave outside of the storm. They managed to get back in, but we see that Mario secures another elim, and that was on Nerd D.
We see a lot of these big players fighting it out in this final 8. We see Mario, we see Vandal, we see Silent, we see Pre-Depression, we see Hoku, we see Moose, and we see Luigi. All in the same top 8.
They've made it back to their top 10 as where they've been all day.
That's right, Mario just solidifying his high ground as someone else tries to take it. It's Vandal trying to take high ground, but dropping down, and Moose actually goes down, and Brad goes down. Luigi now actually on the low ground. Only 4 plays remain. Pre-depression, one of those plays, but it's very, very weak, trying to get some health back, but goes down to Vandal. Now we have top 3, which is all players from Wrath. We have Mario, Luigi, and Vandal.
Team Wrath have made it into this top 3 for match 4 of the Mid-Winter Cup, and I don't know what's going to happen.
We really don't know, but Luigi, a player that has been so crazy consistent, and we're seeing it here again, gets a crazy low ground shot to Mario, but Luigi goes down to Mario, and we might see a comeback from Vandal, who might be able to get some shots as Mario falls down. Just needs one more pump shot to finish off Mario, but Mario cranks up. Vandal doesn't really have the builds to contest that, instead opting to use a mini shield, trying to find a low ground angle here, but low ground is very, very difficult to find an angle from. Mario having a very obvious, well, actually Mario impulse the wrong way and just
shockwave and gave it to Vandal.
Taking away game number 4 with 6 eliminations.
That was insane. We just saw all of 3 of 4 of Team Wrath all in there.
Vandal has been fragging out all tournament, and now he's gotten his placement as well.
Exactly, it's crazy to see. So as we can see there, number 1 was Wrath Vandal, number 2 was Wrath I'm Mario, and number 3, Wrath Luigi.
All of them from the same organization.
That was an insane, and I'm wondering what their play Mario was going for. Were they trying to shockwave up to drop down onto Vandal, or something else?
That's right. That was a very a bit of an upset there. Mario, obviously the favorite to win there, being on high ground, having the mat advantage, having the position advantage. Didn't have as much HP as Vandal in those final situations, but
exactly.
He still should have won that.
Vandal had a massive position there and a massive elim count. They had 6 elims on the board.
6 eliminations is a very, very solid amount.
But Team Wrath absolutely walked away with match 4 of the LPL Mid-Winter Cup.
We actually did see the return of Pre-Depression into their top 4, but couldn't quite close out the win.
They couldn't hold it there. But hey, ending up in that top 5. That's where you want to be.
That's still very, very solid. Pre-Depression actually still has that consistency. He picked himself up after last game, and maybe we'll see him get a win in the last game.
Exactly. Match 5 could be where it happens. So let's join back on Match 5 after the ad break. Kia ora and welcome back to the LPL Mid-Winter Cup featuring Fortnite, presented by Pringles. Match 4. It's
a crazy
massive
game. Dominated by Wrath, and that final 3 was all Wrath players. We did have Pre-Depression sneaking a top 4, but couldn't quite close out the win he was looking for.
Exactly. We saw Vandal walk away with a win, Mario in second, Luigi in third. It's a possibility we have a replay on Vandal securing that victory royale in Match 4 of the Mid-Winter Cup. And as you can see there, Vandal on low ground, Mario on a high ground. Takes massive fall damage.
This was a very, very awkward position that Vandal was in here. Right here, he didn't have any materials. He was just kind of stuck on the low ground, trying to look for a low ground shot, just any angle that he could find on Mario, but Mario just wasn't giving it to him. He'd rather sit in the storm and actually accidentally send himself back in the storm with a shockwave, giving Vandal the win. The nerves got to him, and Mario choked under pressure.
Absolutely monked themselves by shockwaving off into the storm, giving Vandal that win for Team Wrath. It's absolutely crazy. That
was a crazy game, and we saw the return of some like Luigi and Pre-Depression, who were very dominant in the first few games. Obviously Luigi as well, still holding his lead strong. We said he has room for mistakes, but he doesn't care. He's not making any.
We're going to see how that's changed up the leaderboard in the LPL Mid-Winter Cup. Number 1, Luigi is still dominating with those 2 victory royales and 19 elims with 950
That's
points.
Right. Also, these Wrath boys are dominating this leaderboard in position 1, 3, and 4 with Pre-Depression. And number 2, Pre-Depression are actually holding very, very strong, but not too far behind us. I'm Mario, only 20 points behind, and only 10 points behind him is Vandal. We also see Matsky not far behind Vandal either. There's definitely a lot of potential to for players to overtake each other, but I mean, look at Luigi in such a comfortable position. 2 wins, 19 eliminations, 950 points total. He's made top 10 every game.
They're definitely playing for those placement points. Pre-Depression making a giant crawl back up to second place after that drop with match 3. And Matsky dropping down, unfortunately, down to 5th place with 470 points. It may say that this top 5 may be what we end up with.
This top 5 is very solid, but I mean, players 5th to 8 still have a lot of potential to retake place number 4, which would get them 300 Australian dollars, which is still a lot of money. Luigi is sitting very pretty on that 1,000, but I mean, 3rd and 4th could be taken.
I think Luigi actually wants to get it to 1,000 points to represent how much money he's going to win today.
Very possible.
And here we go.
950, and here's the final game.
We're into match 5 of the LPL Mid-Winter Cup solos. Where are we dropping, boys? We're heading down over pressure, down to Happy Hamlet.
That's right. Actually, we're going to see a late drop from Luigi here, and oh my, this bus path is split basically right down the middle, but in a diagonal fashion. We haven't seen, I don't think we're going to see any players go to Moisty Palms again. We haven't actually seen much from Greasy either, but I mean,
Llama placement has been really interesting also. We have 3 on one side of the map and 2 on the Moisty side.
That's right, and here we see Vandal landing at Pleasant Park, which he dominated last game and the game before, walking out of Pleasant Park with 3 kills each time.
Maybe PP has just been Vandal's drop, but hey, we'll have to see if Luigi's gone back to their zone of Lucky Landing.
It sure has. I really doubt Luigi has chosen to land anywhere else, but interestingly enough, Pre-Depression is contesting Luigi. There are 5
Oh my god!
There are 6 players, all in the Lucky Landing contesting Luigi.
Luigi gets pushed right off towards Temple.
Luigi
They did not want anything to do with that.
They did not. Luigi actually in the Temple now knows what is going on, but Luigi, I'm not even sure if he cares. He's in such a lead right now.
I think Luigi definitely wants to get to that 1,000 points. That would look amazing on the tally come the end of the game.
All Luigi really needs to do is turn tail and run, in my opinion. He just needs to get out of here. There are so many players, and he really doesn't want anything to do with it, and he agrees. He's running off towards the gas station. And look at what's going on in Lucky Landing. We see 4 players in Lucky Landing. We see Cole's already trying to get up. We see Pre-Depression, who might just dominate this area. Does have a golden deagle, along with plenty of shield and a grey tack shotgun.
If they manage some minor tags with that deagle, it could be over for some of the players here in Lucky Landing. As you can see, we also have zone on Lucky, which means Moisty is also in zone.
That's right. We could potentially see a prop hunt in game, but I mean, Lucky Landing was lucky enough to get zone, and this is going to be a huge stalemate over the next 5 or so minutes as players sit in Lucky Landing and try to get peak shots on each other and just try to get that early chip damage before engaging fully and trying to avoid those third parties. This is going to be a very, very tricky area to fight in.
It was an incredible amount of players dropping in after we were so used to Luigi dropping into this zone by themselves. Now we're on Tyrant, who's holding Luigi's building and just keeping an eye out on everyone around them.
That's right. We actually are going to see an engagement here from Pre-Depression and Tyrant. Tyrant actually pushing up, getting that ramp down inside the box, which is very, very smart, preventing Pre-Depression from shooting back. Pre-Depression actually opting to run away a little bit. Isn't too confident in this fight, despite his shield levels and the fact that he has a shotgun. Tyrant actually getting beamed. I wonder if Pre-Depression heard that. No, it looks like Pre-Depression is going to back off a little bit, bide his time, try to be the person who is third-partying instead of the one that gets third-partied.
Tyrant has just managed to restore some of their health with their final mini shield. Tyrant has not placed top 25 today, unfortunately, so they'll definitely be trying to get aggressive, trying to survive, get those elims. Only 1 kill across the tournament.
Tyrant has actually only had 1 kill throughout the entire tournament, and with not much placement either. Things aren't looking too good for Tyrant, but I mean, if he pops off this game, there's still potential top 10.
It 100% explains why they're going so aggressive on Pre-Depression at the moment.
It does explain it as well with Tyrant, to no avail. He's really just not finding any angles. He's really just not finding any way to get in. Instead, they're stuck in the stalemate of players that just don't want to engage with each other. They just
want to survive.
They just want to survive.
We're into 40 players who have survived this so far.
That's right. Actually, almost taking a shot from Pre-Depression there, but Tyrant backs off just in time before that shot. Tyrant too scared to engage, watching for this third party, almost like he knows exactly where this player is. This was very smart earlier from Luigi to back out of Lucky Landing. He saw how many players were in and he was like, nope, I'm out.
I can push around to Temple and push off towards a Moisty to secure more loot for themselves and get themselves in a position where they'll survive their end game.
Luigi, perhaps the master of rotation, he actually knew when to back off. He knew when, his luck had run out.
Exactly. Lucky Landing wasn't so lucky for Luigi anymore, and they read that and got out of there as quickly as they could.
But here we see Tyrant sharing with Pre Depression and still 2 other players. Lucky Landing is absolutely filled up with players. I wonder, for example, Pre Depression, I wonder if Retail has been left, like, to just one player.
Exactly.
That's some serious loot advantage. If there's only one player at Retail, they could be farming up all those zombie pylons, getting a lot of launch pads and getting a lot of golden loot, which will make the difference in the long run, instead of all of these players sitting here just kind of waiting for each other. Pre-Depression has got 9 kills over this entire tournament, but has 0 this game. He'll be looking to pick up some soon as he sneaks around behind Lucky Landing. He still has plenty of time to play with, as it's only first zone, and Lucky Landing is still in zone, but he just has to be very, very careful here. Otherwise, he'll get third-partied and taken out of the competition.
We've still got 2 minutes 30 before that zone fully completes itself. And he's pushing across to Pig. I'm wondering if anyone's actually secured Pig, which can have 2 loot chests in there.
That's right. Pre-Depression, actually, this move from him was very, very interesting to contest Lucky Landing with all these players. He's actually in 2nd place right now. So the fact that he's taking this massive, massive risk to try to get these points maybe isn't the smartest thing to do. Luigi took off, and maybe Pre-Depression is looking to do the same thing.
Pre-Depression should do that as they manage to secure that 2nd place spot. They'll get 500. We're seeing Coles and Minor Merc right now, possibly engaging one another.
Here we see Webster in the chat. Shout out to Webster as he onlooks Minor Merc in an engagement with Coles and Lucky Landing. Lucky Landing has had so much action already. Minor Merc trying to find a shot, trying to find an angle with that blue pump, but doesn't quite find the angle. Coles confined to his own box and actually wall glitches into the box. No traps have come out, but goes down to a 3rd party from Clicker. Clicker, one of our highest eliminations player, looking to get another one to put onto his wall of elimination.
Clicker is absolutely hungry for that Elam.
Clicker wants those eliminations. An excellent edit from Merc, but can't follow up with a shot. And Clicker actually takes him down that 3rd party. He got both kills. He got credit for both of those kills.
Clicker walks away with 2 Elams in this game so far. They have been consistent in securing those. 15 kills all up for Clicker, showing that they've been consistent in securing the Elam.
Clicker has been very consistent when it comes to eliminations, but maybe not so much when it comes to placement. This could have been Clicker's tournament. Clicker has placed top 25 in 2 games, but I mean, not in the other 3. Potentially this game he might, but we'll have to see.
Might put them in a better position with that top 10. We've got Pre-Depression right now, who's not looking like they're in a great spot. They want to use those mini shields and that 50 pot.
He's really not looking too healthy here, but these shields are, I mean, they're charging him up. He's also got a big pot he can put on at some point, but Pre-Depression just, this was such a risky move from him, and it's really not paying off. He's wasting all this time where he could be looting up. Clicker with 3 eliminations instead. Pre-Depression opting to launchpad out of there. Getting tagged though, has a 1, gets tagged once from Clicker, actually retreating all the way back to the Pig.
Clicker is pushing and wants this Elam. They're going in on Pre-Depression and they're not going to let them up.
We might see the end of Pre-Depression here as Clicker actually pushes up. Pre-Depression really needs this. If he wants to hold his 2nd place, he needs this elimination on Clicker, but it's going to be tough just running around, stalling the fight in these builds. Clicker just trying to find an angle to shoot Pre-Depression on, but they're just not connecting.
They need that. Either player actually needs a siphon right now.
Pre-Depression actually really getting some shots on. Clicker retaking a high. They're going back and forth. This fight is so fast we can hardly keep up. Pre-Depression now with plenty of shield with Clicker. Now down to just 34 HP. Pre-Depression knows this. Pre-Depression knows that Clicker is so weak and just 1 shot away from an elimination for him.
If he takes out Clicker, Clicker has walked away with 3 Elams already. Pre-Depression did lose track of him.
That's right, Pre-Depression. I think Pre-Depression is very low in nuts. He's kind of just scuttling around on the low ground while Clicker tries to find a way in.
And it looks like Pre-Depression has actually secured most of the Pig, so Clicker can't even edit into it.
The fight has slowed down so much as these players have run out of mats and run out of steam. We see Pre-Depression actually only has 1 build, and so does Clicker. They only have 1 build. They're taking no risk. The fight has slowed down so much. And Pre-Depression actually finds the shots on Clicker. Pre-Depression, all of that risk he took, will it pay off? We don't know. He's wasted so much time in this first zone, and here we see Moose in a close range engagement. He's not going to be able to put that sniper to good use, but we've seen plenty of it, and apparently a mid-air snipe from Moose last game. We might not see that again this game, but does have another blue bolt, perhaps a signature weapon of Moose.
He's found that weapon every time and is using it to their advantage, just getting some really, really good claps with it, taking out people with that blue or yellow bolt action, depending on what he finds. He's going for the kill on Yeti.
Moose actually gets tagged kind of heavy, half the shield, and he's actually getting he's getting pressured by Averta right here.
It looks like Averta is trying to hold that top ground.
Moose actually holds his wall and finds an edit, an 80 damage headshot. That was an excellent pump shot, an excellent angle from Moose. I wonder if Moose will push up. No, he's just using this opportunity to heal up instead of going aggressively. Actually, instead of opting to farm up some mats, but he does almost get tagged by that tactical SMG. We haven't seen much of the tactical SMG, but we might see it in this engagement. Actually, Yeti takes a huge hit, and the third-party shot now down to just 22 HP. Moose going for the wall place, doesn't quite get it though. Yeti rotating the staircase to give him that extra layer.
Yeti got absolutely slapped in the face by a shot there, and Moose tries to take advantage of it. Shockwaving
Moose
up.
shockwave. The shockwave actually fails. I wonder if Moose will try again. Looks like he is going to do it exactly that, finding that high ground. Averta actually still has a lot of HP, and Moose just wants his kill on Yeti. This fight has been back and forth and back and forth. These three-player fights are very, very tricky. Actually, Moose gets edited down and killed.
He's gone. Moose
just
taken
like
out
that,
by Averta.
That is his second elimination, and Yeti actually managed to snake his way out right now.
And that was Averta's third kill in this tournament. So that gets, and they've placed top 25 twice already. They're going for Yeti with that silence. They are great first shot accuracy.
An angle here, yeah, the tap fire on the suppressed scar is very, very strong, but its spray potential is not that strong. Averta using it to his advantage here, but we're not going to be seeing Averta push up. Instead, we're going to see him just wait here. It looks like he's looking at the map, waiting to see what his rotation might look like. Opts for the launch pad. That's very interesting.
Pushes away from Yeti, who has secured themselves 4 elims across the tournament. We see Averta coming down towards Kalada now, and Kalada is also possibly engaging Not Chubby.
That's right. Also another play we haven't seen a lot of. We see Mighty in the distance, and we do see Lynx and Fatal Fields, which does have quite a few players roaming about, especially in the outskirts of the top right-hand corner of the map. We see 3 players there.
And we also see a Chug Jug being picked up. We're on Drifting Doge, who's being followed by Averta. Averta just got some chip damage. No idea where that came from, but they're just trying to secure themselves in that little hut.
Perhaps Averta took that damage as he was flying in from using that launch pad, but now Averta is nice and safe in this build. Boxed up in the zone, getting these extra mats. He needs all the mats he can get. He has plenty of metal, but his brick and his wood isn't looking too good.
Securing themselves 86 builds. They've got plenty to survive on. But if we look at their mobility, they've actually got a really great advantage with mobility. 1 shockwave and a launch pad in their inventory. We're now on Lynx and Y, LRAV and Fatal. Also see Alpha Silent, also another great player for today.
A big fun. A play that we have seen quite a lot of, but we haven't seen him really just clutch out those situations. We do see Yarab taking this low ground position next to this white barn. We haven't actually, except for pre-depression, we haven't actually seen a lot of players from some of the Wrath boys and some of the minor boys. We haven't seen them much, except for Luigi dipping out of Lucky Landing. I wonder if we'll see him in this endgame. We actually have already gotten placement. Players are really becoming more aggressive, trying to scrape together however many eliminations they can to make a comeback.
Everyone that's now live has secured themselves the top 25. Plus 30 on top of what they already secured. We're now in Fatal Fields with the cornfields being used to an advantage. We've got Matsky in the bush.
Actually, a bush within a cornfield. That's very interesting.
It, of course, gives him a 1 hit that he can take. So if he sniped right now, he'd be completely fine.
Matsky actually, he's been a very consistent performer, but we haven't really seen him frag out. We've seen him get very, very good placement points, but getting kills has not been he's not been too confident with that.
Exactly.
Matsky has 6 kills in total. His placement definitely has been shining though. Matsky just always sneaking into those top 25 and top 15s and top 10s.
We're now on UDK and Alpha Silent.
Alpha Silent actually opting to push up and just spray that cone down. The tactical SMG absolutely shreds wooden builds.
Alpha Silent came 3rd in Game 3 and 2nd in Game 4. Consistency
That's
is
some very consistent placement. Here. Alpha Silent not so consistent with the kills though, as he only has 4 as he only has 4 kills total, and that shows this game as he only has 0 kills. Looking for number 1 though, perhaps.
Alpha Silent is just trying to keep themselves turtled up. They don't really want to engage. They just want to maybe try to push forward.
Actually has this launch pad for a free rotation. Only 23 players remain. Alpha Silent being one of them, and doesn't have much more rotation.
Now we're on a massive gathering here. We've got the likes of Inverter Nubru, Netsky, and we're now on pre-depression.
We see pre-depression. We also see Mario off to the left there, pre-depression. Part of this endgame, might find a sniper, whips the sniper on Alpha Silent, but gets 2 AR tags. Look at that, frustrated after missing that somewhat easy shot. Kazari taking down Not Chubby, but we're focused on pre-depression, pushing up on Alpha.
We felt that right now for you, pre-depression. We can understand that frustration of the whiff. He's pushing in towards Alpha Silent.
Pre-depression actually gets the double edit down, but doesn't find the shot. Has the builds, but doesn't have the shot. Pre-depression now trying for a different angle, trying for a different edit. But might get third-party hit by Majestic. Majestic pushing up, forcing pre-depression to go to the defensive.
And we're just seeing they're both. Oh, who's on pre-depression right now?
Majestic has pushed up on pre-depression. Pre-depression going back and forth with Majestic. Actually does have the high and has blocked them off with that floor underneath the wooden ramp. But pre-depression just can't get any shots back. He's being pressured, and there might be another third party from further back. There are a few hills in this region of the map. In this desert region, there are lots and lots of hills, just like up in Pleasant in our previous games. But pre-depression sitting behind the gas station here, not a very good spot. He needs to rotate. He needs to get these fights out of the way, and he needs to act like Alpha Silent and just rotate. Majestic throughout this entire tournament has only gotten 1 kill, but maybe he's looking to double that by killing pre-depression now.
Just want to say a shout out to all of Stryker's fans in chat at the moment. He is noticing you, he is appreciating you, and thanks for using all those emotes out there. We now see pre-depression on Majestic.
It's a nice low round shot, following it up with another. Needs one more to finish off Majestic, and Majestic's still peeking. Doesn't opt to mid up. Maybe Majestic just doesn't have the mid. Pre-depression trying to get a very, very cheeky shot there. We might see that again. Actually, pre-depression opting to break him down, or maybe faking to break down Majestic for him to drop down, but actually going and chopping down all of these builds to try and get a fresh shot here. Sitting in a cone, very smart, waiting to edit out. Maybe might contest his high to get, actually gets it as well. Finds a shot, but it's not quite enough. Might find it here too. Just jumps out of the trap in time and takes down Majestic. Majestic will not be getting a second kill. Instead, pre-depression will be getting a second kill.
That was a massive shotgun play from pre-depression. We're now towards the oasis in the desert biome. We see the likes of Averta, who's keeping an eye on Matsky. Matsky has been playing consistently, which has been getting them into that top 5 position.
That's right, and this oasis right here is not really a position that you want to be in. Hoku right here is in a decent position, but like in between all these hills and potentially having to move through this water could be very, very difficult for him.
If they have to push through that water, they're going to burn a lot of builds, because if you jump into that water, you're going to lose mobility.
Look at that purple tactical SMG just shredding those builds.
Hoku could not deal with it, having to burn off more builds just to rebuild. We see Mizreen and Mario just behind Averta.
Right next to each other. Averta's actually had top 25 every game.
We see Mario secured. Man, Mario has some amazing loot around.
Look at this loadout. The only thing missing is a launch pad, but apart from that, Mario has everything he could ever want. He has 6 shockwaves. That's the maximum you can carry. He has a blue pump, he has a purple sky, and he has a rocket launcher with a max rockets.
That's full stack of shockwave. Mario plays second in match 4 for the LPL Mid-Winter Cup. I think they're ready to try to take this game out too.
This is looking like a very, very winnable game for Mario. We'll see if he gets second again. Second would be very, very strong, but if he has his teammates still up, we don't see much of his teammates, though. We do see pre-depression here. We do actually see Luigi off to the right, though.
Luigi's playing a safe game, holding that outside position, just staying in the box, because as soon as people realize who it is, they may go full aggression on him.
Well, we'll see. Luigi already has a very, very solid lead, and actually already has the placement points from this game. Luigi is in a very, very good spot to win.
Exactly. It's going to be crazy to see what happens with Luigi, because are people going to go full aggression? Is he just going to play it safe? We don't know. Is he going to go for that 1,000 points?
We really don't know. However, Mario opting instead to go for a more passive route here. He's not actually quite in zone here, but he's very, very close, and he does have a very, very winnable game right here. He's got a lot of movement. He's got a very, very good loadout. He's got the match. He's got everything he needs here. If he just doesn't take any risks, this is going to be a solid game for him.
Exactly, and he's gotten himself in a really great position after that last round. And outstanding stuff by Team Wrath, who ended up in their top 3 position.
That's right, top 3 all of last game were all Wrath players, Mario, Luigi, and Vandal, respectfully.
Mario is just absolutely tagging this player out, not letting them build anywhere.
Unloading that scar. Opps instead to rotate into zone. Might actually, no, he's not going for the supply drop. Instead, he's opting to just box up on top.
As we can see, we're now just holding with Mario, who's managed to box themselves off, watching everyone down below.
Mario might be able to find a chance to use his RPG soon. He has 13 rockets to get through, so we might start seeing him soon. We actually see Mr. Foray here on a little bit of height, has a clear advantage over the rest of the lobby, and actually has a decent pass to the next zone. He's one of the closest players to it, but all of these players are going to have to move. This next zone is going to cause mayhem. Shockwaves are going to come out, launch pads are going to come out, and a lot of players might get held in the storm. One of those players being Pre-Depression, who's quite far away.
Pre-Depression is holding the outside with their duo's teammate Botlin.
And very interestingly, we actually see Luigi as well right next to Pre-Depression. We may see an engagement in the storm there from them too.
And as we can see, we've just got Mario holding that zone. Everyone's playing it safe. They're aiming for that top 5 position. And as you can see, everyone's getting ready to move. Mario is going for the tag.
Absolutely unloading, trying to find whatever shots he can. Actually takes down Botlin just like that. Mario, the absolute laser, picking up his second kill.
Interestingly enough, we actually saw Pre-Depression secure that kill on Botlin.
Sorry, Mario getting more tags. This man is crazy. That Scar is so accurate, and Mario is capitalizing on that. Now capitalizing on this rotation, and an RPG might be able to take some higher. No ops, not to shoot, but instead to build up and take some height. Look at these 90s, cranking up to height. Has the mats to do so, has his extra mats as well. Also picked up a launch pad, more shockwaves. Mario is in such a good position right now, trying to take this big pot off to top up his HP, and he's going to make some plays happen very close to the next zone. Just needs to squeeze in a little bit further, but he has the shockwaves to do so.
And we've just heard that Luigi has unfortunately fallen.
Luigi, the only thing that can take down our top player is apparently falling damage.
Yeah, that is the one. We're now on Pina Colada, who's got a really great position there.
He does, and 4 kills. We also see Mario on high ground again this game. We might see him dominate this lobby. Actually does fly back into the storm with a Shockwave. Shockwave's not his best friend at the moment, but does use another one to get back in. But it looks like he might have to give up that high ground to Nui Bro right here.
That was unfortunate for Mario, accidentally shockwaving into the storm, but a great RPG there.
That's right. We did talk about it before. Look at these players getting stuck in between these hills, now being forced to climb up. Hopefully, actually using the shockwaves might actually get up. We see Pre-Depression making a steady way up as well, but he's taking quite a lot of storm damage.
Alpha Silence had to go right around the outside. We're just not Nui Brew, who's gone down in the middle there. Colada's just in behind Alpha Silent. Does some huge damage on them.
That's right. We only have 5 players remaining, and Mario, it might be time to just unload rockets. He still has plenty more. He's been saving that rocket launcher, and we're just going to see him unload all of these rockets after each other. He does take down Pina Colada just like that, and now we have Pre-Depression, Mario, Hoku, and Alpha Silent all in the top.
Hoku just got
shockwave down. Silent just gets taken down as well by Mario. Mario just fragging out. Now with 5 kills, gets a shot on Pre-Depression. We just need to see one more final shot, and this could be Mario's game. Does also have the shockwaves. We might see a shockwave in the storm. Pre-Depression doesn't have that many mats. He only has 10 more builds. Pre-Depression panicking a little bit, not getting a clean total off, but actually lasers Mario down. We might see a low shot at Pre-Depression. Finds the win.
He
was looking for Pre-Depression. Finds a very consistent performance from Pre-Depression, but was it enough to hold his position?
He hits us with the strut, the business strut.
All in a day's work for Pre-Depression.
Deserves that outstanding play by Pre-Depression to actually secure the #1 win in match 5.
What a game 5.
I think an absolute upset for Luigi, dying to full damage.
Luigi's dying to full damage like that, but I think he's secured a spot.
It's a possibility that they've got their #1 spot, but we're still going to have to tell you that. Congratulations, of course, out to Pre-Depression, securing the win in match 5.
Yeah.
That was an outstanding final zone. As you can see, we saw all that crazy action pushing up the hill. You know, people were getting stuck down below. That's
right. We talked about it before. It happened in Pleasant Park, and it happened again in Moiste. All of these players getting stuck in between these hills and having to rotate up. We saw a lot of shockwaves, but we also saw a lot of players get stuck and free placement points for all the players that had shockwaves, but not getting a clean total.
We saw the likes of Mario accidentally shockwave themselves right outside of that zone and back into Storm.
Shockwave's really not Mario's strong suit at the moment, but I mean, placement has definitely been his strong suit. He's been very, very consistent across the board with getting those placement points.
Exactly, and I saw Alpha Silent had great positioning, managing to build themselves back up into the final battle, and then they got snuck up on behind.
That's right. We actually saw Pre-Depression frag out quite a lot. And interestingly, at the start of the game, we saw 5 other players all contest Luigi at Lucky Landing. Luigi wasn't having any of it, though. He dipped out right away.
Luigi wasn't feeling very lucky at all going into that final Lucky Landing drop for himself.
However, Pre-Depression was, and it really did work out for him.
it didn't work out. And there was just a lot happening there. But we'll have to come back to you guys after the ad break with the standings for this Mid-Winter Cup tournament. Kia ora and welcome back to the LPL Mid-Winter Cup featuring Fortnite, presented by Pringles, broadcasting live to you from the Sky Tower in the heart of Auckland City. I am Jordan Tinney, joined of course by Joel Strykerr Simpson. Joel, what did you think of match 5 of this tournament?
Well, Jordan, that match 5 was very, very well played and well deserved by Pre-Depression there.
Pre-Depression was one of our strongest contenders out there, always lasting towards that final zone.
That's
right. They made a strong push for it.
In those first few games, he was a very consistent player the first 2 games, as well as Luigi, but couldn't quite get a win until that game 5. Very well deserved and very well played to him.
Exactly, and it's interesting you bring up Luigi, who was landing pretty much at lucky landing in every other game, and then we get to match 5. There were 6 other players.
There were 6 other. They wanted some of that luck too, I guess.
Exactly, and Pre-Depression did get that luck from Luigi. Luigi, unfortunately, dying to full damage. That's not what you want in the end game.
He's a good player. Maybe full damage is the only thing that can take him out. We saw it happen twice to him.
Exactly, and we saw a lot of accidental shockwaves from Mario again,
we did.
flinging themselves outside of that zone. It's going to be interesting to see how that affects the standings when we get towards that.
That's right. However, overall, some of these Wrath boys really just dominated this competition, along with Pre-Depression. All of these players did so well and so consistently.
Pre-Depression was a consistent name up top there with Luigi, so we may be able to check out how these standings look with the final result incoming. And here you have it. In at number 1 is WRA I'm Luigi with 2 victory royales, 19 eliminations, and 1,040 points.
1,040 points and $1,000 richer. Congratulations to I'm Luigi. Pre-Depression coming out just shy with 800 points, quite a little while below Luigi, but Pre-Depression, a very solid performance. And
of course we got I'm Mario in at 3rd with 13 elims, no victory royales, but that consistency is being showcased there, along with Matsuki. Matsuki was exactly the same, but secured that 4th spot.
Matsuki was a player that we didn't get to see a lot of, only with 9 eliminations, but he made up for it with a placement. All of that placement really paid off. We talked about it before. These top 4 positions, they could move around quite a lot. We saw Matsuki sneak in, and we saw Vandal just drop out a little bit.
Exactly, and we see Pre-Depression's team member from yesterday, Bonlin, secure that number 5 spot. Of course, you know, the way we were reading the table from pretty much match 3 onwards, it was the Luigi's game.
That's right. We saw a lot of players from yesterday perform very well again, namely Luigi, Pre-Depression, Botlin as well. All of these players did so well. Vandal too, he dropped down to 7th, but still a very solid performance from him.
Exactly. Vandal was a name we were seeing consistently towards the end there, but the showcase was being done by Luigi.
Luigi really just dominated this tournament, really.
Luigi was all about waiting for their end game, not really securing any elims, but then cleaning up.
That's right. Luigi was very quiet, very good at rotating as well. He took his fights very, very carefully, and he chose the right fights to take and the right ones to just move away from and wait until end game.
Exactly. So a massive, huge congratulations to WRA I'm Luigi. 1,040 points, got themselves that $1,000.
$1,000 richer.
It has been an amazing Solos Cup here for the LPL Mid-Winter Cup featuring Fortnite, presented by Pringles. I have been your host, Jordan Tinney, joined by my expert, Joel Strykerr Simpson. Joel, thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you so much for having me, Jordan.
Thank you guys for joining us in this LPL Mid-Winter Cup. We will see you next time for that.